every Old Firm game is so special, but last year, Rangers boss Walter Smith showed us all just what it really means to win the New Year derby. For Rangers, success in this one has been the key to the championship over a decade. Smith takes a side to Celtic, perhaps for the last time today, Rangers trying to close on a 10th straight title. Celtic Park becoming one of the biggest and best arenas in British football once more. Today the setting for the game of the season in Scotland so far. It's Celtic against Rangers, the old firm, old rivals, meeting in the league for the 247th time. Well, it's fantastic to be here as a spectator. What's it like to play in one? For some of these Celtic players, not too much experience. Mark Reaper, one of the new arrivals, he will play. Craig Burley, come back to his roots to play in Scotland this season. Alan Stubbs, one of the more veteran members of this current Celtic squad. Darren Jackson, still hoping that things will improve for him this season. Celtic arrived individually. Rangers led by Walter Smith off the team bus. On away territory here, as you may hear. Marco Negri, goal scorer supreme, and so much know-how and experience. Most of these Rangers players have been through it here, time and again, successfully. Will Paul Gascoigne play? We shall find out shortly. A very warm welcome to you from Celtic Park. It will be very noisy here in about an hour's time. Celtic on the trail of Rangers once more then. Rangers looking for a chance today to put daylight between themselves and the rest. And over the past decade, they've chosen New Year as the time to do it. Charlie Nicholas, alongside Craig Brown, the Scotland coach, and Trevor Stephen, who won a derby here at New Year for Rangers. What, in '93, I think? Trevor?
93, I had that fortunate experience, yeah. It's one of those things that just will last in your memory forever, and I'd say I was fortunate to score the winning goal.
What is it about New Year? Why do Rangers choose this moment?
I think it's not just New Year, it's just that this period leading up to New Year, where traditionally they've put a string of results together, and obviously this game comes right bang in the middle of that. At the moment they lead the league, and you know, I think that's where Walter Smith would have liked them to be at the start of the season, and it's good that they can come to Parkhead with that confidence that they are sitting on top of the pile.
Charlie, we've just seen a group of Rangers players, most of whom, coming off that team bus, most of those have been involved in these sort of games before. Most of the Celtic boys almost look like the inexperience in this set.
Well, they are, there's no doubt about that. But Rangers' record so far against Celtic in the last 17 years has been sensational. But, you know, eventually things do turn. A bit of luck or a bit of magic from one individual player can turn the tide for any team. Given that, Celtic do have the players to do it. I think Rangers have the more in abundance, but I think Celtic do have the players. If they play to for them, Celtic can do it.
How do you see it? You're neutral today, of course, aren't you?
Well, I'm neutral, yes. I saw Rangers play last week. In the last hour of the game against Dundee United, they were excellent. But I've been lucky every time I've seen Celtic they've played well this season, particularly in the two games against Hearts. Even the last game against Rangers, when they equalised at the end, Celtic played well. So I think it'll be a very close game, and as usual, I'll go for the draw.
We are looking for something special today. Last season it was always special along the way, and yesterday Glasgow has been proved that Edinburgh can serve it up as well.
Clever left foot of his. Robertson is so foxy in these situations. Fulton's header! They've got the goal! And Hibs are behind, and we've only had 5 minutes. Lock. Robertson touching it off to the goal scorer, Steve Fulton. He's got 4 forward ahead of him. Robertson looking for Fulton again. He's still going. Fulton, he's got another one. 10 minutes gone. 2-0. Steve Fulton scored them both. Harper. Looking at good progress here. Goalkeeper's nowhere, and Andy Walker has handed him to lifeline. Dow. And they're level. McGinley has put it in.
Honours even in Edinburgh yesterday then. Hibs still bottom, but spirits lifted by their fight back. A point behind Aberdeen. Hearts still divide the old firm clubs at the top. Rangers will stay top if they lose today, but they want to go 4 clear of Hearts and 7 clear of Celtic with a win. Celtic would need to win 9-0 here today to go second. Unlikely. Championship odds like this. Rangers are 5-2 on favourites, but there has been some money for Celtic, we hear, into 7-4, Hearts 20-1. So the last decade on New Year has been all about Rangers. Celtic fans need to look back to 1988 for their last moment of glory in this fixture.
Stop. Here's Walker getting a bit of freedom. McAvenny with a chance to score. Just before half-time, the Rangers defend, caught wide open. No Woods in goal, and that's a goal. McAvenny.
Ten years ago to the day, and that Celtic side of '88 went on to do the double that season. The photo of that side lies in the boardroom at Celtic Park these days, a reminder of the glories of the past. Not too much silverware since then, a couple of cups, of course. 4 managers have come and gone. They've tried to rebuild the team time and again. They've also rebuilt this stadium, and very shortly it will be complete. And then it will be, once more, the biggest club ground anywhere in British football, seating 60,000 plus. It's great to be here today. Here's the story of Celtic's season so far on the field. New manager Wim Janssen's brief was simple: to bring the championship back to Celtic Park for the first time since 1988. Celtic opened their league campaign at Easter Road. They found themselves a goal down before Malky Mackay hit back.
What a header from Mackay! Yes, an excellent header from Malky Mackay. It's Chick Chomley! What a hit! What a fantastic goal!
Things went from bad to worse against Dunfermline. It was 1 apiece where Mackay brought down Alan Moore. Hamish French scored to complete a miserable start to the season for Celtic. The fans made their feelings known, many leaving well before the final whistle. Wim Janssen finally got his first league win against St Johnstone.
Curling effort. Superb goal by Darren Jackson.
Mark Reaper was then brought in from West Ham for £1.4 million. But he couldn't prevent them going out of the UEFA Cup to Liverpool on the away goals rule. Celtic had progressed to the semi-finals of the Coca-Cola Cup, where they met Dunfermline at Ibrox. They were hitting form in the league as well. A 2-0 win over St Johnstone, putting Celtic top, erasing the memory of a poor start. A fine individual goal by Henrik Larsson put Celtic on the way to their 8th consecutive league win. Janssen strengthened his squad further with the signing of Paul Lambert from Borussia Dortmund for £1.7 million. After losing the first Old Firm game of the season, Celtic had to wait just 11 days for the chance to gain revenge. But despite the sending off of Paul Gascoigne, it was Rangers who took the lead through Marco Negri. Celtic left it late to earn themselves a point.
And
Celtic.
But that was 3 games without a win. Celtic had slipped to 3rd. They met Dundee United in the Coca-Cola Cup final and put on a superb display.
Away goes Weghorst. Will go for it. Return for Mark Reaper. And here's Larsson. Weghorst up in support. Larsson shot deflected. It's through.
Jansson's first trophy as Celtic boss, and only the club's 2nd in 8 years. The Norwegian striker Harald Brattbakk was recruited from Rosenborg for £2 million. Celtic then played host to top-of-the-table Hearts and came up with another vital win.
Larsson using his shoulder. Rolled off. Alan McManus. That's a good ball in. Chance for Burley. That's the breakthrough for Celtic.
Last time out against St Johnstone, George O'Boyle's effort was adjudged to have crossed the line, Celtic crashing to a 1-0 defeat. Wim Janssen's side losing crucial ground to their rivals in that game, and they'll be looking to make it up in today's Old Firm meeting. So Celtic this season, these 5 defeats have cost them so dear in the first half of the year. The improvement has come in the goals against column, only 13 conceded up through Christmas. Respectable home record, 19 points out of 27 available. Leading scorers, Henrik Larsson. Will he be fit to play for Celtic today? He's got 15. Donnelly also in double figures. Burley 9 from the middle of the field so far. Average attendance, as you might expect, touching 50,000 a week. And in the last 3, a couple of wins. Big win over Hibs, but then that costly reverse at St Johnstone. So can Celtic pick themselves up, and can their fans look forward to stopping Rangers 10 in a row?
I have to say that yes, it'll be very difficult for Celtic, but I mean, Hearts are doing reasonably well at the moment. Rangers are dropping points, as to our Celtic, so I think we'll just have to wait and see.
Celtic are still strengthening their team, they're still bringing in new players. We'll have to wait till the end of the season to see what the situation is, but believe we can get there.
They can stop Rangers 1-10 row if they believe in themselves. But this last number of years, Celtic have no belief in themselves. I think that's the main reason why they can't defeat Rangers. Because Rangers, for me, at the moment, are not playing that well. They're there for the taking, you know.
I think we're going to make it the best team we've had, best squad we've had for years and years and years. Our day will come.
I think you've got to bear in mind that most of the squad today haven't been involved in that history, and they won't know that. As far as they're concerned, they see the championship at the end of the season as a target, and I'm quite sure we can do it today. We've got to start sometime.
Celtic has always been a club here where we fight till it's impossible to win. That will always be the way. So win, lose or draw today, the league is not over, and neither is Celtic's challenge.
Brian Dempsey, a former board member there on the end of that piece. Incidentally, we're hearing from downstairs that Brattbakk, the new arrival from Norwegian football, goal scorer from Rosenborg, hasn't started a game for Celtic so far, but he is wandering around down there with the number 9 on. Maybe he's just dropping a hint for the manager, or maybe it's
or maybe he's winding us up. He may just be winding us up.
We'll confirm the team news as soon as we can. How about the belief inside this club now, Charlie? Is it changing Celtic?
Slightly. I think it's taking time. I think these are the games that they must turn eventually. If they don't get a victory today, it's not that the champion's over. It doesn't worry that much. It's what it means against playing Rangers. These are the games they must win, and constantly have failed. But what they will have today is the support who will constantly give them that back and drive them forward. And if Celtic can maybe get that first goal, Paul, that might just be the lift that they need, because they've struggled to get the first against Rangers in so many times.
Craig, how much have they had to follow the lead that Rangers have given them?
Well, obviously Rangers are established now. They've won the league so many times, 9 times in a row. They have an established setup. Celtic are trying to revise their setup and get a new established team. And I think Charlie made a very good point. If they score first, they've now got the defensive capacity to hold out. They couldn't do that in the past. They were always vulnerable at the back in the past few seasons, but with Reaper in particular there, I think Celtic, if they get a goal, could hold the game.
Do you see the improvement in Celtic this season, Trevor?
Yeah, there's been a distinct improvement. When Wim Janssen came, everybody was a little bit perturbed as to the quality of the guy, but if you look at his playing career, it's absolutely exceptional, and he's been around. He knows the game inside out. It's taken the fans here a little while to get used to him and his style, but he's certainly implemented his style of play into the team, brought his own players in, and they're looking a good side. The only problem that I find with Celtic is that they have actually lost 5 games up to this point in the season, and you can't go through a season and lose too many games and expect to win championships.
Well,
so that's, they've got to be careful. They can't afford to lose today.
If they can win today, then they will draw back at least some of the territory they have lost. Just to confirm, these Celtic fans arriving at Celtic Park are in for a bit of a surprise. We hear that Harold Brackback definitely plays for Celtic. Now, when we come back from this short break, we'll hear from Walter Smith, perhaps his last outing at Celtic Park as Rangers boss. Great record he has.
We have a record against quite a few of the other teams in the Premier League where you would look and say, the law averages would come into play in terms of the amount of times that we've beaten them. But you never really look at that at Celtic. You've got to, in the Old Firm match, play as well as you can, be as motivated as you can be, and hope that you can get a result.
Live World Championship darts over on Sky Sports 2 this afternoon, and with the final coming up on Sunday, we start to get down to the business end of this tournament now. Jeff Sterling, Sid Waddell and the rest of the team this afternoon from 5 o'clock over on Sky Sports 2. Here live now on 1, it's the Old Firm meeting, Celtic against Rangers, one of the great fixtures in world football. Celtic Park is starting to fill. They tend not to come in too early here. Well, there's other attractions, of course, in this city, especially on a holiday weekend like this one, but nobody has missed this. What a history between these clubs. 246 meetings in the lead. Celtic 74 wins, but Rangers nearly 100 now, 98. New Year, that pattern confirmed. Rangers have won 49 of the New Year meetings. Could this be 50 today? We hear from downstairs that Paul Gascoigne will be on the bench for Rangers this afternoon. Yesterday, Davy Provan had a word with Walter Smith, the Rangers boss.
What is it about this away Old Firm fixture that has seen you put this record together? You've only lost 2 out of 13 away matches against Celtic.
I don't think there's anything you could put your finger on, apart from the fact that it's taken some really good team performances for us to achieve that. We've had some good individual performances over and above that as well. I like to, a little bit of luck. I think, you're going to go that length of time against your closest rivals without losing. I'll have a record like that. You need a little bit of luck. So we've had that as well. But I think most of all, we've had really good team performances at Parkhead, and it's been necessary because they've been very tight games indeed.
This will be your last trip to Celtic Park on league duty. It will be your 32nd time in charge in an Old Firm match. Are you going to miss these games, or will you be glad to see the back of them?
I think you'll miss them. I mean, you miss the atmosphere. There's a tremendous atmosphere generated at both stadiums for these games. In Scotland, we don't get that often enough. I think in England and other European countries they have, many games where they generate a great atmosphere. But for us, going to Parkhead, it's a tremendous atmosphere in the ground. And, we're up against it in terms of numbers, especially the last time we went. We were cut down to 3,000 supporters. But, if anything, the boys show the resolve in that respect. But it's a big game. And I think at the time, you might not enjoy it during the 90 minutes, but when you look back on it, you more or less enjoy most of them.
Is the biggest danger perhaps now the law of averages? Is there a feeling that perhaps Celtic have to get a something?
Well, there's always that feeling, but I think if you're being honest, the Old Firm games are like that. I mean, it's said often that you can never pick a winner in an Old Firm game, and I would say that that's the case. So that keeps a little edge on. We have a record against quite a few of the other teams in the Premier League where you would look and say, the law averages would come into play in terms of the amount of times that we've beaten them. But you never really look at that at Celtic. You've got to, in the Old Firm match, play as well as you can, be as motivated as you can be, and hope that you can get a result.
Focus on in the dressing room just before the game. I know how excited I used to be before these matches. Do you have to calm them down as opposed to having to lift them some week?
I think that's the case. For this game, there's not a lot a manager does after the initial picking of the team and maybe the work on the day before the game. The day of the match, you notice the different tension in the dressing room. So therefore, there's no great need for any motivation at that stage. They're all well enough motivated and they know the situation that they're going to go into.
Whatever the method, it seems to work. What a record against Celtic. In all competitions, 16 victories and only 6 defeats in 31 games as Rangers boss. Maybe not quite as good as he'd have wished it at Ibrox, but then again, away teams generally down history have done well in this Old Firm game. But here at Celtic, 8 wins and only 2 defeats in 13 league games away against Rangers' bitterest rival. And in total then, 12 wins and only 5 defeats in 26. In the league, Rangers against Celtic under Walter Smith. Trevor, you played for him. Why do you think he's decided Gascoigne should start from the bench?
Well, he obviously feels that Paul's not going to be fit enough to play in these games, and to be honest, you need to be at your best to be influential in a game like this. And you know how Gascoigne plays. He likes to get on the ball and he likes to, you know, make runs, you know, with the ball at his feet, and maybe he's just not got that strength and fitness that he needs to be able to do that at the moment. And Walter Smith will say, right, you'll make the decision and say, right, Paul, you're not going to start, but you'll be a sub.
Regardless of what happens today, Craig, where does Walter Smith stand on the all-time list as a Rangers manager?
Well, I think Walter is up at the very top, the pinnacle of Rangers managers, and everyone would agree with that. His record is exceptional. When I look at the figures there that you showed us, they are exceptional. Now, had Tommy Burns won some games against Rangers, yes. Tommy had a magnificent record for Celtic in games other than against Rangers, but Walter always could win the vital Old Firm games, and that's kept him at the very top.
Thank you. We'll confirm the team news with Davy Provan in just a few moments, but first, here's how Rangers have got to the top of the tree yet again this season in Scotland. Before Rangers' opening league game of the season, the traditional unfurling of the championship flag. It was their 9th in a row. Manager Walter Smith had been in charge for 6. The Italian striker Marco Negri started as he meant to continue with 2 goals against Hearts. Alec Cleland made the game absolutely safe. Against Dundee United, Negri wreaked havoc, getting all 5 of Rangers' goals.
The goalkeeper's in trouble. It's Negri again. And here come Rangers again. Good play by Negri. The hat-trick's on. Fabulous goal. Here's Negri again. It's another one. Through for Negri again. It could be number 5. 5 goals for Marco Negri.
But Rangers again failed in Europe, going out of the European Cup to Gothenburg. They also went out of the Coca-Cola Cup. Gary McSwegan's fantastic volley giving Dundee United revenge for their league thrashing. Rangers were still looking formidable in the league, with Negri getting 2 more against Kilmarnock. That win helped Rangers overtake Hearts at the top of the table. But Rangers then crashed out of the UEFA Cup to Strasbourg, prompting calls for Walter Smith's resignation. Former Rangers skipper Richard Gough was brought back from America before the visit of Dunfermline to Ibrox. Brian Laudrup opened the scoring. It turned into a 7-0 demolition. Paul Gascoigne's individual effort, the pick of the bunch. But it was Negri again who stole the show. Another 4 goals to add to his already considerable collection of match balls. Rangers' first league defeat came against Dundee United at Tannadice. Andy Gorham's blunder gifting them the lead. Negri's equaliser meant he's now scored in a record-breaking 9 consecutive Premier Division matches. But Gorham then compounded his earlier mistake, bringing down Stephen Presley. Presley himself took the spot kick. It gave United victory. Walter Smith then announced he would step down as Rangers boss at the end of the season after 7 years in charge. Ibrox was the venue for the first Old Firm game of the season. 1 goal enough to decide it.
Gough and Negri in the middle. Richard Gough! And Gough scores!
When the sides met again only 11 days later, Gascoigne was sent off for this clash with Morton Weghorst. The incident overshadowing the game itself, it ended in a 1-1 draw. Rangers travelled to Tynecastle in a high-scoring top-of-the-table game. It was one apiece when Gordon Bury's deflected shot restored Rangers' lead. A Negri penalty made it 3-1, then the champions turned on the style.
Here's Albert's trying one now, and there's a superb strike. Duty for the hat-trick.
That result put Rangers back on top of the table. They were given a scare last time out, Kjell Olofsson giving Dundee United the lead, but they struck back emphatically.
Up comes Albert, leaves it for low drop.
Cleland put them ahead before 2 goals from Negri. His 32nd and 33rd of the season made it safe. Walter Smith wants to go out on a high as Rangers manager. A win today would go a long way towards securing the magical 10 in a row. A record that any of the rest would be proud of in Scotland. 12 wins in 19 and just the 1 defeat so far against Dundee United. 51 goals scored so far. Just the 1 slip away from home. Top scorers Marco Negri, 33 in total, 30 of them coming in the league. I would have said you can forget the rest, but of course it's McCoyston. You never know with him, do you? A couple of sendings off, but a respectable crime count through the first half of the season. They've won the last 2, and Rangers in total now an unbeaten run of 10. Now, Trevor, you've mentioned it already today. You feel that this is the key for Rangers over the last few years, this middle part of the season?
Yeah, it's been a traditional period where Rangers have started fairly weakly in the league and just kept, up in the top 3, and then have pushed on and, got a few results together. And so this game comes in the middle of a period where they're going well. 10 games without defeat, won the last 2, sitting at the top of the league, and it all looks good for them at the moment.
What is it, a collective will in the camp that they will dominate from the front?
There's a couple of things. It's the squad strength at Ibrox is very good, and they tend to be able to use that squad to its full potential. The smaller clubs, their squads just become a little bit stressed and strained around the Christmas period. And Walter's been over the territory so many times, he's been over the ground, and he knows how to build his team to make this period a successful one for them.
Charlie, when one goal scorer gets 33 goals, it looks a pretty simple thing to an outsider. You've got to stop him.
Yeah, well, Celtic did it the first time around when Richard Gough was the winner that day at Ibrox. But Negri did score here. He's a player who, for me, in the last 6 or 7 weeks, actually has been working a lot harder at his game for the team's sake. And I think that is a menace to other defenders now. They're starting to understand him a little more. But you can't give him any time at all. Both myself and Craig were saying that he tends to get space in an Old Firm eventually. Sometime it comes, and he just needs that one opportunity, and he can kill you.
Let's have a word with Wim Janssen, the Celtic boss. He's talking to Davy Provan.
Wim, let me ask you first of all about Henrik Larsson, who's been suffering from a hamstring injury. Will he play this afternoon?
Yeah, he will start the game today.
How much of a bonus is that for you?
Yeah, of course it's very important because he has skill, he can move, and I think that's very important for the team.
What have you been working on this week? Because I'm sure you would agree it was a poor performance at Perth last week.
Yeah, we knew that, but the games against against Rangers are always a little bit different. So we really work on the things we have to do against Rangers, and we know they mark very short and they don't give you so much time to play. So that's why we work on this a little bit this week.
Do you think you'll have to play better today than you have in the first 2 Old Firm games of the season to get anything?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we really need to play very good today to win the game.
How much of a bearing will the outcome of this match have in the championship, do you think?
Yeah, we have to wait to see because it's still a long way to go. You never know how this game is going, but anyway, how it's going, it's still a long way to go.
You have experience of 2 of these occasions behind you now. What do you make of them?
No, it's very big games, and the atmosphere this is fantastic, so I'm looking forward to the game today.
Ben, thanks for your time. We'll speak to you after the game.
Okay, you're welcome.
He'll be smiling afterwards. Now, we know that Larsson's in, so too this man, Harold Brattbakk. A first full appearance for his new club Celtic this afternoon. Norwegian international signed from Rosenborg. And the man he's going to have to beat today, back after a 3-game absence for Rangers, Andy Gorham, back in goal for Rangers. And we'll confirm all the team news when we come back. A great rugby double coming up this weekend. 2 key games in the Tetley's Bitter Cup 4th round. First up Saturday over on Sky Sports 2, unbeaten Bedford against Northampton. And then on Sunday, Sky Sports 3 live from Loftus Road. The current league champions Wasps against Quins. Live rugby union this Saturday and Sunday. We're at Celtic Park for the Old Firm meeting, the New Year derby, and maybe the destination of the Scottish Championship at stake as well today. Betting for this match today, Celtic 6-4, very tight. Rangers 13-8, and the draw 2-1. First to score, Negri, of course, is favourite at 4-1. He's got 33 already this season for Rangers. Harold Brattbach, the surprise selection for Celtic, 5-1. Larson, Celtic's top scorer, also 5-1. Then Brian Laudrup, big game player, 7-1. Burley, who's got plenty of goals from midfield this season, 8-1. Alberts with his bombs from distance, especially on the left foot, 12-1. Richard Goff gets a big game goal or two, 22-1. Alan Stubbs has already scored in the Old Firm games this season, 25-1. Well, this will be a highlight today, but so much to come over the 12 months ahead. We gave it all to you in '97, and it's all coming around again now.
Burley has surely won the final now for Celtic. David Hopkins looking to come. Absolutely amazing. And it's 3-1. Shearer. Newcastle have won it. Oh, incredible power.
There is no last day miracle for Middlesbrough.
And Keane, they've got it. Zola. Shearer. England have qualified for the 1998 World Cup finals.
Wallace taking it on.
Here's the alley. What a goal! Absolutely fantastic. Is there a team in the land good enough to stop them, to stop them, to stop them, to stop them?
Manchester United won it all in '98. We'll be following the title race to a conclusion in England and Scotland, and we'll be bringing you all the games that count. And in Scotland, 1 or 2 dates for your diary over the next couple of months. Big title games. Hearts go to St Johnstone on January the 12th. We'll also bring you Celtic against Aberdeen on February the 2nd. Kilmarnock at home to Rangers on February the 24th. And then the 4th and final Old Firm League game of this season on April the 12th from Ibrox. Rangers against Celtic. Hope we'll have the pleasure of your company for those. Already 1 or 2 big team news stories for this one today. Let's get the confirmation from Davy Prophet.
Yeah, certainly the most significant news for the Celtic supporters, Paul, is the inclusion of Henrik Larsson out for the last couple of games because of a hamstring injury that he suffered against Hibs. He comes straight back into the Celtic side. For Rangers, it's Andy Gorham back in the side after missing the last couple of games, as does Richard Gough. No place, however, for Paul Gascoigne. He's now served his suspension after being sent off in the last fixture between the two sides, but he does start the match on the bench this afternoon. To the Celtic side, first of all then, Jonathan Gould makes his 27th successive appearance for Wim Jansen this afternoon. 16 clean sheets in that spell recently earned him a 2.5-year contract. Alan Stubbs, the man whose last-minute header snatched a vital point for Celtic in this fixture 6 weeks ago. Partners former West Ham man Mark Reaper in defence. Craig Burley will be looking for his first Old Firm goal. He's already hit the target 9 times already this season. And further forward, as I said, Swedish international Henrik Larsson has recovered from a hamstring injury. He's the club's top scorer this season with 15 goals, and he'll partner Harold Brackback, who starts for the first time. To Walter Smith's side, and back for the first time in 3 weeks comes Andy Gorham, so often the man who has turned this match Rangers' way in the past. Also back, Richard Gough, having missed the last 2 games. He makes his 10th appearance of the season since his recall from Kansas City. He scored the only goal of the first Old Firm match of the season. Up front, and with a remarkable 33 goals so far in the campaign, Marco Negri, the former Perugia striker, scored Rangers' goal on their last visit to Celtic Park. And let me just confirm that Paul Gascoigne starts the match on the bench. Paul?
Thanks to Davy Provan. Trevor Stephen, Henrik Larsson of Celtic. Do Rangers fear him the way Celtic would fear Negri?
I think Henrik Larsson's been a great acquisition for Celtic. He's proved that he's got pace, he's got skill, he's prepared to make runs, you know, which defenders don't like, down the channels. And he scores goals, as you see there, and he's prepared to get into positions, which is all important.
Charlie suggested to me a bit of a free spirit as a player. You see him like that as well?
Yeah, he seems to not fit any particular category. He pops up all over the place, and he's obviously an international player of good standing, and he seems to have settled into the Parkhead setup very nicely.
International experience may be critical, Craig, in a cauldron like this one. Also, Brian Laudrup, a man with so much. You wish he was a Scotsman, don't you?
I do indeed, and also I wish Larsson was a Scotsman as well. I've seen Larsson play for Sweden. Outstanding player. I also saw him for Feyenoord, where he was magnificent. So he's a good player, but Laudrup is the best in the country.
Without Gascoigne, how will that work for Rangers today?
Well, I'm surprised that Paul Gascoigne's not playing, honestly. Rangers have got this luxury of having him on the bench. I think they arranged a friendly match during the week to try him out. But
on his own, is he still the same force, do you think?
Yeah, I do think so, yes. And certainly when he's fit, Gascoigne is magnificent. Laudrup, although I would say in the last few years, Laudrup has been easily the best player in Scotland, and he can win the match on his own.
Charlie?
Well, he's done it in the past year, Paul. He's punished Celtic before in a 1-0 victory last season. But Laudrup is a guy who can turn the game, probably more individual than any other player on view today. And last week, he looked fresh again, he looked hungry in his Dundee United match. That's a worry for Celtic.
Laudrup's always been a big game player wherever he's played in his career at big clubs. What a change in the story of Jonathan Gould's career, the Celtic keeper today. Struggling in English football at Bradford, comes north of the border. Now he's an ever-present this season. How well has he done for you?
Superbly well. He's had 2 or 3 mistakes which he's been punished for. But I have to say, time and time again, Celtic got this guy for nothing. He came with a dodgy reputation, people were telling us. And week in, week out, he's been a revelation. I think he's been as good as, certainly him and Burley have been the best 2 purchases for me this season. Sensational stuff.
At the other end today, Andy Gorham, who's been written off more times than anybody in British football, I should think.
Yeah, Andy's had been a tremendous servant for Rangers over a long period. He's had serious knee problems. He's come back from that. He can make crucial match-winning saves, and he's done that on numerous occasions, particularly in Old Firm games. As Tommy Burns once said, you know, this is the day that Andy Gorham broke my heart, and this is a couple of years ago in an Old Firm game, and Andy's capable of anything.
I think I've got to add that he's coached by Alan Hodgkinson, an Englishman, former English international, who is magnificent in goalkeeping coaching. Now Alan is full-time with Rangers. He's given up his time at Everton and at Manchester United to be full-time with Andy Gorham. So that'll keep Andy Gorham's career extended, I'm sure.
And I bet he's trying to impress you this afternoon, Craig Brown. Davy Provan here, looking back over the last 3 New Year derbies.
Rangers were chasing title number 7 at the beginning of 1995, and Walter Smith's side was 10 points clear going into the Old Firm derby. Tommy Burns was in the early stages of reshaping Celtic in his first season as manager. It ended honours even.
The call. Well, Miller could get in here. Ferguson does. Collins with the cross. Brilliant goal! A marvellous goal by Burns!
A year later, two sides which bore very little resemblance to those that met at Ibrox again shared the spoils at Celtic Park.
O'Donnell goes for glory himself, touched onto the post.
No luck for Gascoigne, but Rangers went on to win the league. Last year at Ibrox, Ali McCoy led Rangers out in Richard Goff's absence and ended up a winner.
And Albert gets it through! The hammer torn Celtic apart. Boyd. Van Hooydonk, Cadet, Di Canio, they have scored! That's what it means to Tommy Burns and to all connected with Celtic. Well, here's Albert, and here's Anderson! Anderson again. A sensational appearance from the substitute.
Well, time and time again when it's really counted, Rangers have dominated in these derbies, but is this the day that Celtic can prove that they really are coming to terms with the threat posed from across this city? Our commentary team today, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Hello everyone. Andy, time and time, Paul says. Time and time you and I have sat here, particularly at this time of the year, looking at the significance of meetings between these two great Glaswegian giants, and invariably Rangers have ended the happier of the two camps.
I think that's right, and invariably, Martin, Celtic have played the better football and been the better team on the day. I think for once, I think Wim Jansen and all these supporters in green and white today will happily swap a good performance for a result, because I don't think it's about performance today for Celtic. It's about pure and simply result. I don't think they necessarily need to win the game. What they can't do is afford to lose it. They cannot afford to lose this match today.
We're looking at this part of the ground, incidentally, because this wonderful stadium here is scheduled for more development very soon. This temporary stand will go, and they'll join up at the end there, right round to complete the circle. 60,000 will be the capacity as Celtic try all they can to catch up with the standards set across at Ibrox. They've certainly done that in terms of bringing interesting new players here this season.
Yes, they have, and they've also done it when I look around and listen, just for a couple of minutes, Martin, you listen to the atmosphere that's around this ground now. It's certainly a match for anywhere in the country, and I mean Britain. I don't just mean in Scotland. Incredible atmosphere, great noise. But as you say, it's one thing having a ground and an atmosphere. It's putting a team out there that can stop Rangers marching to a 10th successive championship. That's the aim of Wim Jansen. And he has brought people in.
How much is this a series of wins to beat Celtic's 9 under the great Jock Stein? How much has that been a dominating factor in all of these meetings in the last 3 or 4 years as the record has drawn closer and closer? When they get the 10, what I'm trying to say is, will that all go out of the window? We can now look at other values.
I think it'll have to go out the window, Mark, because I don't believe that there will be another another point where you'll see a team, Rangers or Celtic, win another 10 titles in a row. I think those days are gone. I think Rangers supporters know this is their one chance, and Celtic supporters know this is their one chance. That's what makes this a huge season.
Well, the result today will have some bearing towards whether Rangers can go on to make it 10 in a row. We'll be back here after the break.
This may very well be the noisiest place in Britain right now. Celtic Park, Old Firm derby, commentary team, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Paul. So Rangers still top, thanks to the Edinburgh derby. 4 goals shared amongst ex-Celtic players. And Pat McGinley's equaliser at Tynecastle, taking the 2 points from Hearts that would have put them above the defending champions. But it's Celtic who want to have their say today. This New Year fixture is so often seen as the indicator of how the championship will finish up. Here we are in 1998, and Celtic haven't beaten Rangers at New Year since 1988, and that, as all their fans will remember, and Rangers, to their regret, will recall, that was the last time Celtic took the title. Was that before you became a Rangers player, Andy?
Yeah, that was a tester, do you know that? 1988-89 I was there.
Yeah. So I was there. They were the defending champions.
Defending champions, yeah. So I just made it in. Just made it in.
But the rivalry here does produce a unique football cocktail, very intoxicating, potentially explosive, and the depth of feeling amongst the fans dictating the extraordinary drive that will follow out on the pitch, even though there are now so many foreigners and very few Scottish-born players in the two teams.
I have to say though, Martin, it is the atmosphere you get caught up. You don't have to stay long in Glasgow or play for one of these clubs for very long to understand the importance of what this means to the fans. I think players are very close to fans' feelings in these type of games, and they know what it means. There's no doubt about that. They might come from far and wide, but they'll all come out that tunnel in a couple of moments, and they'll know, every one of them, homebred and otherwise, or what's at stake today.
Well, there hardly seems to be any spare seats in the stadium, but looking away beyond the temporary stand, there are still people coming in and trying to get here in time for the kick-off, which is shortly to be upon us. So many changes at Celtic, but Tom Boyd is still there to lead them out. But there have been 9 major signings at the club, a new head coach, a new general manager. We shouldn't forget Jock Brown, who in the more recent times used to sit up here with us, and he's now the Celtic general manager, and good luck to him in his new career. Here come Rangers. 10 in a row already for Rangers in one sense. 10 Old Firm League games without defeat. Craig Burley, who's fitted in so well. Harold Blackback, a big day for him. Morten Weghorst at the back, working with Tommy Muller-Nielsen on the Rangers training staff. Well, let's confirm the team news for you. And good news for Celtic on the injury front. Mark Reaper returns to their defence, and Henrik Larsson, the focal point of their attack, he's fit again, and he's joined by Harold Blackback, the most recent of their 9 major signings. After 3 substitute appearances, the Norwegian striker is in from the start for the first time.
I think everyone was wondering how would he go for Janssen. Would he go 3 or 5 at the back, or would he go with a back 4? He's gone in with this 5. And it's a pretty strong, solid 5. Already mention's been made of that they'll keep it tight. They're much better defensively, and a lot's going to rest on those 3 doing that today. They'll get forward, no doubt. McNamara will get forward there. Boyd will get forward on that left side. That's an absolute certainty. Burley and Weghorst, I think, will be the 2 who'll try to get forward from midfield and in and help Blackback. We're all wondering how well he's going to cope here. And of course, the major threat, and the one Rangers will have to keep quiet, Henrik Larsson.
Walter Smith's problems, how to use a pack of senior players who are short of match play due to injury or suspension. Gorham, Goff, Gattuso and Turn play. Gascoigne and Jury on the bench. One late withdrawal. Björklund with an illness.
Well, it's almost like for like. The Rangers side, three at the back. It's a very familiar system, this that Rangers adopt. They've got Gattuso, I think they'll be quite happy to do that. Cleland on that side for them. It's a pretty strong and formidable and physical midfield three. But of course the game could well rest on how Celtic cope with Negri and Laudrup.
Well, it's the third Old Firm fixture of this season. The previous two staged in a 12-day spell in November. Richard Goff's goal gave Rangers the points at Ibrox. Marco Negri thought he'd done the same here at Celtic Park, only for Alan Stubbs to equalise in the closing seconds. So an improvement for Celtic from the first game, and now they're looking for a further improvement from that draw. Hugh Dallas has the refereeing responsibilities, which are sometimes quite arduous in this fixture. Good early burst from Alberts, and a pretty effective clearance from Alan Stubbs. Well, if support is worth a goal, Celtic will be one up. This is a fantastic backing for them. But it's Rangers who have the ball. McNamara. And now Henrik Larsson getting an involvement. A player who's impressed so many since coming to Celtic. Swede, known to Wim Jansen from their time together in Holland. Forward by McNamara, and Richard Goff can let it run.
Just looking at Rangers back three, I wondered whether Stuart McCall, Mark would play in the centre of the two and have Goff and Bjorkman either side. It looks like Stuart McCall's going to play on that right side. I'm not so sure how good Bratback is in the air, whether he likes the ball tossed in, but I think if I was centre forward, he'd be looking to pull on Stuart McCall if anything comes down the right side of Celtic, and just dump it on the top of them, you'd be thinking.
Yes, it's McCall, Goff, Porrini, the three at the back for Rangers. And in terms of Harold Bratback, who comes with a great goal-scoring pedigree from his Norwegian club, Rosenborg, which includes goals in the Champions League over the last 3 or 4 seasons. They are hoping to have a Marco Negri in hoops. McNamara. Now Larsson. Linking up with McNamara again. Dennis Turn able to step in. Celtic win it well forward. And 10 again. Important. This Swedish international with so much know-how. And he's only got one player to try and pick out there, Negri. And Gattuso following in.
Well, it's half a chance. He only had one option, you're right, but so often that option proved a good one this season. He wins this well. He looks second favourite to me, Negri, but he muscles his way in. And they get Gattuso really far forward. Doesn't quite hit it the way he would like. Early in the match, it wouldn't have helped. A bright opening from both sides.
Gattuso, who came pretty much in the deal with Negri, and was really regarded as one for the future, but he's forced his way into the team with some fiery displays. Very popular with the Rangers supporters, and obviously with Walter Smith. And it's Gattuso again working that right-hand side, with Cleland playing today on the left. That sends Celtic conceding a throw near the corner flag. It was important for Stubbs to clear that after a good turn by Ian Ferguson to get the cross in. And Rangers have a corner. Porrini is there, Richard Goff, of course. Albert stakes it. Laudrup hoping to set himself as the ball dropped. not had the best of fortune with injury this season, Brian Laudrup. But when these big games come around, he's usually in his most emphatic form, and Celtic recognising the danger.
Yeah, it's a free kick, but nothing much more than that.
Laudrup tries again. Flag has gone up. Whether Hugh Dallas didn't see it, or he thought Celtic were in a position to clear. Flag is up again, and this time the whistle has gone.
Yeah,
hard to hear. Well, it's a swan song in some respects for Walter Smith, his last league match here as manager of Rangers. And he's enjoyed great successes at Celtic's expense. That's a big issue at the moment in Glasgow. Who will be the next manager of Rangers? Celtic are behind Rangers and Hearts, largely because of their lapses against lower sides. They lost their first two league games at Hibs and here against Dunfermline. More recently, they've dropped their standards against Motherwell and last time out at St Johnstone. Lambert. Well, that back had gone in. One wondered whether he was offside.
But that's the kind of ball, Mark, you'd fancy, and drop a shoot McCall at that. Great competitor, but he isn't the biggest. I think this is a decent ball, and I think, you know, maybe pulling on the back of Stuart McCall. He does try and go in between two defenders. I just think that he gets held his position. But it is easy from up here.
And from 10 to Laudrup, who got through the traffic. And Cleland, with plenty of room. Alberts is ahead of him. One back by Yanis 10. Gattuso, 10. Promise in this Rangers build-up. And some sorting out to be done there by Alan Stubbs. And one or two encouraging moments already for the league leaders and defending champions. Cleland, a bit short for Laudrup. And sliding in to turn it away was Burley.
Yeah, they started quite brightly, but I think that Celtic, on the other hand, have had plenty of players back there. Rangers haven't exactly flooded the box when they've gone forward.
Laudrup. Got to be careful with their challenges. Well, Hugh Dallas was close. It might not matter because Negri couldn't get the ball down. The challenge on Brian Laudrup producing extreme reactions in both sets of fans. The Celtic faithful feel that Laudrup went to ground to deceive the referee, and the Rangers fans feel that the away side today should have had an early penalty.
I'm not so sure if it was inside the box, Mark. It was pretty close, but and if Alan Stubbs got anything on it, it was a little. As he drove across the box, it's right on the edge. I mean, that's a free kick. In fact, it's a penalty. It isn't a free kick, it's a penalty.
On the line is in.
Yeah, it's in.
Here come Rangers trying to confirm the brightness of this beginning for the team in blue shirts. Gattuso. Here's Ferguson. The corner.
Now can have a look again. He drives across. Alan Stubbs commits himself. Laudrup wins the ball. Does he get a touch in it? Stubbs with his studs? Difficult to see. It might be the only thing, but if Hugh Dallas spotted that, he has got the eyes of an eagle.
Alberts with the corner. Mark Reaper rising high.
You would expect Celtic to cope pretty well with corners and set pieces, man. They've got good height in the side. I'd be surprised if unless they lose their concentration.
Big Horse doing the pointing. Rangers have got three in a little group. Negri, Goff and Perini. They spread now. Ball not deep enough for any of that trio. McCall. Stokes' header didn't go very far. Back in by Goff. But the referee spotted a shove, and Celtic regroup and take the free kick quickly. Burley. Good instant control from Larson, and he just lost his bearings and lost the ball. 10. Pressed unfairly by Craig Burley. Stuart McCall, who's made a great recovery from a long-term injury. And I'm sure when he's been out on the sidelines, these in particular have been the occasions that have been so painful to miss. Well, he's out there in the heat of the battle now. And these days, just pleased to get in the team anywhere, but news recently as a defender, that's his job today. Well, two defeated one, who was Gattuso, who is still down.
Well, I didn't look enough for it wrong when he tackled. I just think it was the combined challenge of them both. All three players went in really committed to this. There was certainly no one in any thoughts of pulling back. Boyd, Gattuso, cross comes Stubbs. That's a great tackle from Stubbs. Timed it absolutely perfect. But he felt it as well. Gattuso hasn't moved much since.
Gattuso's fitting this match in between suspensions, incidentally. Wim Jansen, who is a veteran of many partisan encounters in Holland, Feyenoord, his club, against the likes of Ajax, but nothing like the incredible passion at Celtic Park and indeed at Ibrox for these old firm fixtures. And Celtic have already won a trophy under Wim Jansen, and that's a pretty good start for a club that have been starved of silverware. The Coca-Cola Cup in November. Walter Smith has come down to the touchline early on. Message imparted, come back to get a better view. Goff stabbing it forward. Stubbs for Reaper, who's been troubled recently by a calf strain. Ted. Now Lambert, couple to his left. Alberts and Cleland is there as well if required. Back with Laudrup again. There's a shot on now. Well, he didn't take the chance of shooting when it first opened up and wanted to get even closer. It was a bridge too far, really.
Well, it did open up just about the end, but he decided to try and come back on himself. He course just got enough on it.
There's been such a capture for Rangers, Brian Laudrup. How much longer he'll stay is the latest matter for debate. He said he'll make a decision about next season and beyond over the next couple of months. Every time there's a possibility of becoming available, of course, a lot of speculation, particularly from south of the border.
We've talked already about how they've almost gone in light for light, man. One little difference is you've got Anoni who's doing his best to track Laudrup, and Reaper has been given the job of marking Negri with Stubbs as a spare man. They've almost gone like man for man at the back, Celtic, with Laudrup and Negri.
Oh, Bradland, who's a diffident character off the pitch, bespectacled, looks almost the academic, but out there he has shown himself, in Norwegian football at least, to be a really ruthless goal-getter, and obviously all connected with Celtic. Hopefully he can translate that talent into the Scottish game. Well, to be fair to Gattuso, at times he dishes it out. I remember Walter Smith saying to me at the start of the season when I asked about him, he said he loves a tackle, but he can take a tackle or two as well.
Yeah, to be fair, he hasn't laying around or throwing himself or anything like that. And this is just a case, it's a body check, it's as simple as that. It does seem to like a contest.
Celtic do feel that if they've won any of the league meetings over the last 2 seasons, Rangers would no longer be on this roll towards a record 10 in a row. But when the big games have come, Celtic have just been a little bit short, and that's where they've got to find something extra. Whether it will happen today is just part of the fascination. Got for Negri. And that's his fellow Italian. He's grumbling at Gattuso. Wasn't where he hoped he would be, Negri. Celtic don't build effectively from that. Albert's is a probing pass, but Lambert just ahead of Annoni, and in doing so he's gone offside.
Yeah, they held the line well. 3 lads at the back. Stubbs didn't think of dropping deep. I think when you're a central man, sometimes you're just a little bit tempted to drop deep. You see Laudrup makes a run. They kept a pretty good line, and he's offside.
Weghorst, the player who was involved in that incident with the Gascoigne, that led to Gascoigne being red carded in the last Old Firm fixture here. Paul Gascoigne, if you haven't heard, a substitute today. Did that surprise you, Andy?
Well, the only thing I can gauge from that decision, Martin, is that if you've got a fit Paul Gascoigne, and even an 80%, 90% fit Paul Gascoigne, you pick him. He plays from the start, you get as much as you can. I think what that decision suggests that Paul is a little bit behind in fitness, because I can't believe that a man who's influenced these games as much as he has over the years would have been left on the bench if he was 75-80% fit.
Well, he's just got one of those bodies, a spell of inactivity in terms of matches. Just seems to go off the boil somewhat. Alberts for 10. Alberts again. Good pressure by Celtic in Rangers territory. Throw to the home side. Taken by Burley. Touched off by McNamara and then Larson. Lambert back in Scotland after a very successful spell with Borussia Dortmund, including the European Cup winners' medal and the elimination of Manchester United along the way. Lambert again. Now Stubbs stepping forward with some authority. He's getting in within range, but had to rather reach for the shot in the end.
Yeah, it's good to see, though. I mean, that's what he should be doing if you're playing in there, if you've got confidence. And certainly Stubbs has got both confidence and ability to do that. I've seen him on more than one occasion threaten the goal better than that, and closer than that from that sort of range. And they'll be happy with that, because I think Rangers have started the better in this opening, 15 minutes or so.
Perini pushed by Larson. Adjustment maybe by Wim Jansen to the Celtic strategy. Rangers having the better of the early possession.
Well, I say, I don't think stats like that are going to worry Celtic today. I don't think it's a game for them to dominate and lose 1-0, as we've seen them do often. It's a game for them to dig in and defend solidly, not lose any goals, and perhaps just pinch one. And maybe that one would be enough to give them that victory over Walter Smith at the Llanelli enjoyed many a New Year's Day, as I've stated already.
Well, this season Celtic have been much stronger defensively.
Now, they're a little unlucky there. If that free kick hadn't been given, and Weghorst could have just gotten up and gotten control. Tom Boyd had broken into absolute acres on the left-hand side. But they've just gotten through there and managed to keep his balance. With Gattuso being drawn in field, Boyd was in acres on the outside.
Well, as far as height is concerned, there's Reaper, who's a definite danger. Weghorst and Stubbs. Goes towards Alan Stubbs. Bounces back to him as well. So he gets in across, and here's Reaper. And here's Larson with the volley.
Well, that was the one thing you'd have wanted. You got Stuart McCall right in the middle of the goal, and you got your centre forward climbing all over the top of him. Reaper here is not looking to do anything but just feed Bratt back. He puts it in there. Stuart McCall does his bit, to be fair. He did enough to put Bratt back off. Not an easy volley for Larson. You might have hoped to have done better here. Plenty of time to look at it.
Negri. Celtic has conceded just one goal in their 7 games since Rangers came here in mid-November, and that was George O'Boyle's winner for St Johnstone last Saturday, and that only just crossed the line. Welland playing on the left to Scola Stensor, who has been in the team, has not been in the best of form. And Rangers get a free kick here.
Well, it almost looks like he stands in the ball. I think there's a little bit of contact. Well, it certainly could have been allowed to go. You can see why Anoni was annoyed.
And a shaven-headed shadow. So here's a chance for Rangers maybe to mar this Celtic defensive record.
Well, I think that hit Weghorst. I don't think he knew a thing about it. I think it hit him flush in the face. Little bit Ian Ferguson goes up near post, but it could actually have gone anywhere. It's some smack in the face. Fortunately for him, drops to Jonathan Gould.
Parini. Rangers man for man with much more experience of this fixture than today's Celtic side. With characters like McCall and Goff and Gorham and Ardwick, of course.
I was going to call it a clash of heads here between Ferguson and Weghorst.
See where Ferguson felt it.
Well, they both did, because they go up, they stop their bench and both go in. Oh, I think, I'll tell you what, well, Weghorst would have felt that more than Ferguson. It's the back of Ian Ferguson's head, it's the cheekbone of Martin Weghorst.
Well, while we're watching these replays, Hugh Dallas wants to talk to Ferguson, and Goff has been having his say. Brian Scott, the long-serving Celtic physio, been working very hard to get the likes of Reaper and Larson ready for this game, and he's got Weghorst back on his feet. We're halfway through the first half. Scarcely a chance of note. Ball just put out there deliberately by Reaper.
When you saw them line up, Martin, you saw that both managers go as much like for like as they possibly could in this game. It's just a game with a full of individual battles all over the pitch, particularly stretched right across the midfield area. And it sometimes takes a little bit longer before you get that little bit of space. The players get a little bit tired mentally and physically.
It's Gattuso from Negri's pass. It's another real buccaneering burst from the youngster.
It's a great break from Gattuso. Just got ahead of Tom Boyd, but he stopped it, Boyd. He made life difficult for Gattuso purely because of his presence. He just goes a little bit quicker, sets off, and you think he's just going to get ahead of Tom Boyd. But he does enough and stubs his presence at the edge of the box. Made him take it a little bit earlier than he would have liked.
Across goes McCall. Here's Stubbs. Picking out Larson well. That sort of touch play may work in other fixtures in the Premier Division, but there's very rarely room in an old firm game for the prettiness that Larson was looking for then. Close order. McNamara. Lambert needs some help on the left-hand side, and he's got it from Anoni. He's not tracked by Laudrup. Burley. One or two avenues to explore here for Celtic. Down the Rangers' right. Bhoys. Gattuso is there again. Still a week away from his 20th birthday. But certainly evidence this season that he's capable of playing regularly at this level. Very little senior experience in Italy before Walter Smith brought him to Ibrox. Charging down by Alberts from Anoni. Lambert trying to guide it back to Burley. Ferguson. To the feet of Laudrup, it bounced off one foot, and that suited Stubbs, and back comes Celtic.
Yeah, better control from Laudrup, and Cleland was really bombing along to support him to give him 2 against 1. Anoni had gone in that run a little earlier and hadn't got back in.
Lambert, nice angle on the pass to him from McNamara. Tab. Challenged by Beekhorst and then by Burley, but getting the better of both, and Rangers making progress through midfield, and Albert with a pass that has Negri chasing into the area where he can be so deadly. Laudrup wanting to take over from him. Didn't do that quite as smoothly as Rangers would have hoped, but Laudrup, other options now. 10. Blocked by Beekhorst, who takes over from Bratback. And here goes Beekhorst, Bratback making a run to the left, in behind McCall. Larson in the centre. And Bratback in a bit of a hurry to get it across, and it was pretty comfortable for Andy Gorham.
Just sent a little bit wide here from Beekhorst. Stuart McCall does a good job of tracking Bratback. It would have been difficult to beat Gorham from that sort of range, particularly stretches.
And there's McNamara's shot.
I think to be fair in the last break, this is McNamara's effort. High, wide and handsome, not his strongest side. But Bratback had a little option in the earlier break, Martin. Larson hadn't managed to get in centrally to really support him.
Negri. Now Stubbs. One for Larson to chase, but was overhit from Lambert. Well, Craig Burley may have more than a passing interest in our match for you on Sky Sports 2 on Sunday, 3rd round of the FA Cup, the big one, Chelsea against Manchester United. Bounced on by Alberts. Reaper tight on a complaining Negri. Marco Negri, of whom his mother apparently said he'd either grow up to be a footballer or a thief. Well, he's been stealing goals in Scotland, that's for sure, at a remarkable rate. 30 in just 19 league games, 33 goals in all competitions. fantastic record, and I suppose next in his sights, Brian McClare's Premier Division record of 35. Shouldn't take him more than a couple of weeks at the present rate. He's not had a sight of goal today, although amongst his tally this season has been one against Celtic on this ground. Stops. Brought back. The flag was up. Gorham saved it in any case, as you might have expected.
Stubbs again, no breaks through, Mark. This is him coming through. That's twice now. That should be a little warning. He's the extra man who's been given a little bit of space. He's not offside, you can see that. I think Gattuso on the far side was playing him on. I certainly didn't think he was offside. But what a save from Andy Gorham.
Just to confirm, had it gone in, it wouldn't have counted. The flag had gone up. And we've had half an hour here at Celtic Park, and it's 0-0. McCall. Flat back. Now Henrik Larsson trying to drive it towards his fellow striker again. Allen going in with a header. He's not sure where the ball is. Lambert is. McNamara. Very much the attacking side of Jackie McNamara's game that's been developing in this new look Celtic. Weghorst taking on Tairn, deflected off Goff and headed away by Gattuso. And the ball presented back to him by Annoni. Laudrup. Negri running from the centre, and twisting and turning, trying to take up a position where he could be found and still be onside.
Yeah, he was offside this time. That's certainly clearer. Makes one or two runs across the face, but you can see his the ball's delivered. He's a good 2 yards offside. Brilliant decision for the linesman. Better little spell from Celtic, home side. A little bit of pressure, they would have enjoyed that.
Lambert reached it. Right back, starting to feel and look more at home in his first start for his new club. Change of pace from Boyd. Cross dealt with by McCall. Able to tuck it into the feet of Tairn and sprint on to get the return. Last. A long ball from Reaper. Boyd reading McCall's header. Burley, who loves to shoot from midfield, and has chipped in with 9 goals already for Celtic this season.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad ball, that diagonal one. Throw's been given to Rangers. It certainly looked like it was a Celtic throw, the angle we had. But that diagonal ball over Stuart McCall towards that back, I don't think that's a bad ball if you can get people in to support him quickly.
A couple of decisions in quick succession going against Celtic to make the natives here a bit restless. And there's no doubt at all about that one.
Yeah, this one of the easier ones that you, Dallas, has had to give. Particularly from 2 yards away.
But all credit to the players. Sometimes there's been an age of brutality about these games. That hasn't been the case today. Both sides trying to...
he isn't going to hit this, is he?
The hammer?
Surely not.
Well, he's hit it, but into an area that might have produced a deflection, might have reached a teammate. Good pressure by Cleland, offside against Negri.
That flag was up pretty quickly. The come back in from Cleland. Yeah, it's a decent decision now.
Richard Goff has been doing that year after year after year, and a spell in the States hasn't taken the spring out of his defending in the air. Larson. Ferguson interfering with Burley's intentions. Poorly back by Gattuso. Ferguson. Just wide of Alberts. Celtic able to pick it up again. Weghorst. Boyd on the left. Right back, joined by Burley in the centre as Boyd goes on. And though it's brought away by Gorham to Craig Burley, in fact, but he couldn't adjust himself to have any power to knock the ball back goalwards.
I must be joking, the referee. I can't believe he's pulled that back. I mean, that's a ridiculous decision. Absolutely ridiculous. He gets lucky here, Gorham. He comes out, he doesn't really claim it, and doesn't get much distance on it. Farini just manages to get it away. I mean, one touch back in would have caused real problems, and a little bit unlucky, Craig Burley, but he couldn't control it. But having done that, Cleland breaks out of defence, skips over 2 tackles, and then's hauled 40 yards back down the pitch.
Yes, it was a decision that certainly helped Celtic, although it was officially a decision against them. Negri. Swamped away by Rico Anoni. I don't think he's picked an odd pair out of the dressing room. I'm sure that's Italian fashion these days, but it wasn't like that in your day, Andy.
Is it one of those, it's sort of like training boots, isn't it? You kick them all with your left foot because that's the white one. You just use the other one to stand on. Maybe for hire.
It's just 2 sponsors deals there. Here comes Celtic. With Boyd. Oh, right back. He can take this as a chance. Great stop by Gorham, the breaker of Celtic hearts so often. And it was the first open chance of the game. And Andy Gorham stopped Harold Brattbach from taking it.
Well, that's the second magnificent save, but this one had to count. Richard Goff slips just at the edge of the box, and Brattbach's in, but look at the goalkeeper. Quickly off his line, spreading his body in his arms.
McNamara. Rangers have got Goff down again. Larson with a header, and Gorham reaches it ahead of Burley, who was entitled to go for it.
Yeah, of course he is. All goalkeepers complain, Martin. They all do. Especially after you've just made a good save. And he's entitled to stick a leg. And to be fair to Craig Burley, he pulls it away very quickly. But this is the save. Once again, look how quickly he's off his line. He spreads himself, makes the target a small one. But this is a really good finish to the half. If Rangers started it better, Celtic are certainly in the ascendancy at the moment. Just up the tempo, and I think particularly left side, Tom Bhoys just began to get a little bit of joy against Gattuso.
Handball by Alberts. But you can almost detect the gloom amongst the Celtic fans when the Rangers teams are announced in these fixtures. Number 1, Andy Gorham.
Well, twice already shown why.
He does miss a good few games as well, but never, it seems, the old firm games. Despite the baying on the far side, the throw goes to Rangers. Ferguson. Here's Torini. And Laudrup, who's been quiet for a while, but suddenly emerges again for the embarrassment of Annoni. Negri! Well, he nearly pitched another one.
Well, that's why they only play the two up front, man, and don't get much support up, because they can do that. Great play, great set-up play from Laudrup, and it could only have been inches away, Negri.
Well, you have to say it was skillful work from Bhoys, but McCall wasn't going to pull out of it. And when the ball had gone, he got the man. The card was the next part of that particular sequence.
Yeah, you go to ground and you don't get it. We just missed it. That was just after.
Great tackle by Ferguson on Bhoys, and Alberts got possession because of that. And only this time trying to make sure he didn't give Laudrup the licence that he had a moment or two ago, when he so nearly fed that ferocious appetite that belongs to Marco Negri. Five minutes left in the first half. Some good spells for Celtic. One particularly significant save from Gorum. Ratback. Now Perini. It's a neat clipped pass from Stubbs. Larson, who might fancy himself against the player he knows very well, Jonas Tern, but in getting away from his fellow Swede, he showed too much of the ball to a man who was born in Sweden, incidentally, Richard Goff. This is Bhoys. Oh, look at Larson and the space that he had. Burley. Lambert was trying to make an angle for a pass there. And it was given away by Perini, and trying to lift it forward with some power. He lifted it too high, did Morten Weghorst.
I'm not sure what Perini was trying to do there. They've just been under severe pressure. Comes out at the edge of the box and tries a crazy little ball. But he'll be a bit happier of him, Janssen. His team started, well, they seem to be a bit nervy to me. I mean, obviously, knowing the importance of the game, and Rangers started better, but they settled.
Here's Perini this time, finding a teammate, and it's Alec Cleland. He's prepared to back his speed against McNamara, and he's carried the fight forward for Rangers. Alberts. Stubbs wants that to run, and he's quite prepared to almost take the law into his own hands to make sure Jonas Tern wasn't going to catch him out.
It's amazing this, you know, it happens time and time again, but anywhere else on the pitch, anywhere, it's a free kick. But so often the players get away with it, and it's running out for a goal kick.
Here's Negri. It's a pretty useful ball. Didn't quite get Laudrup in on goal, but got him into an area where he can really threaten Celtic. Supported here by Gattuso. Good defending by Reaper, but the ball's gone back to Laudrup. And Negri again showing that he's got this ability to time his movement and lose defenders.
Yeah, but he didn't lose Reaper, Martin. This is great defending. You talked about his first header being a good one. This is better, because Negri's, well, certainly level with him. He fancied his chances on that one. But Reaper was having none of it.
Oh, and Goff, who got into the right position but didn't make the right contact with the ball. Well, that won't perturb one of the coolest customers around. Lambert. Nothing on the left that time, because Floyd had got too far forward. But they fed it through the middle to Burley. And just for a second or two, a suggestion that Rangers are going to be vulnerable. It's a curling ball from Larson, and the player he was looking for again to link up with was Harold Brattbach.
That's a decent ball in this from Larson. Looks up very quickly. That's a lovely little pull from Brattbach. Quite enjoyed watching him play, Martin, this opening half. Been quite impressed with the lad. Took a little bit of time to get into it, but he's looked dangerous. He looks to pull into all the right places. Looking to pull on the back of Richard Gough, and he's only fractionally away from making contact with that.
Negri. Alves. The run away from Stubbs. He's got Jonas turn infield. In the end, I can only assume that he saw Gould starting to come out and thought he might be there to be chipped, but Gould had got back.
That's all I can think of. It was the first good break, really, that Rangers have had for a while. They got Stubbs out of the centre. Played a little 1-2 and he was away. There's the Stubbs gets caught and he's ahead of him now. And they do get support now. Rangers have got 3 players in the 18-yard box, but the cross was a poor one.
I don't know what Bobby Gould makes of having Jonathan Gould as a goalkeeping son. He's done well for Celtic, and Celtic have done well here, but it's the other goalkeeper, as is so often in the Old Firm fixtures, has really caught the eye with the one vital save from Harold Brattbach, who has settled in pretty quickly in his first full game for Celtic. Rangers began brightly, Celtic took it up from then. And there will be optimism here that maybe on New Year's Day, for the first time for 10 years, they can beat Rangers, but at half-time at Celtic Park, it's 0-0.
Just a reminder about the test match action coming up here later tonight. Highlights of day 1 of the second test, Australia against South Africa, tonight from 7 right here on Sky Sports 1. It's half-time here at Celtic Park in the Old Firm New Year derby. Celtic against Rangers. And very tight it has been through the first 45. No goals. Just one attempt from either side on target. Rangers have forced 3 corners, none for Celtic so far. Respectable foul count, one would think, in a game like this. Just 15 so far in the first half, and 1 booking. McCall of Rangers. 52% squeezed into that middle third. That really would reflect that it's been such an even contest, perhaps. Rangers have just shaded possession of the ball. And here with me, Charlie Nicholas, Craig Brown and Trevor Stephen. Your overview of the first half, Charlie?
Very even. I think it's been quite an exciting first half. I think at times there's been a lot of good build-up play. Rangers, for me, first 20 looked the most dangerous. In the last 25 or so, Celtic came back into it. I thought it's been quite even.
Craig?
Yeah, I would agree. They've matched up in a 3-5-2 formation, and it's a series of individual battles out there. And the key man, I think, is Mark Reaper at the moment, because he's controlling Negri very well. And also known he's doing reasonably well on Loudrop. So an even game, nicely matched up, and all to play for.
Trevor, should Rangers have had a penalty in the first 10 minutes?
I certainly think it was a foul. Whether it was inside the box or not, that's debatable. Alan Stubbs has been tricked by Loudrop. He's just made that little half yard to himself. Just that's a little bit of extra pace that he has. Stubbs has made the contact. I think we're looking at him. Stubbs' foot seems to be on the line. I think there was contact. The referee's got to give a foul of some sort, I feel. What do you think?
I think he's just in. I've got to be totally honest. And I know he does really well here, because he can easily shoulder him over. As you see here, the ball is still in the box and his body's still in. For me, it's a touch in, and I think as a Celtic side, it's a bit of luck.
As Andy and Martin pointed out, Charlie, even if it's on the line, it's in the box under the rules of the game.
I mean, I think they were confused a little bit with the shape of Brian Loudrop's body, because he can change angles so sharply, and I think he proved that time and again. But that one for me was just inside.
Craig, how about Brattbach, the big surprise in Celtic's starting lineup today?
Yeah, well, I think he's done well, and but for Andy Gorham, he has a goal. In fact, he may have had 2 goals. He was given offside. It was a dubious decision, and he might have scored 2. But the excellence of Gorham has kept a clean sheet for him.
Was this one offside, Charlie?
No, I don't think it was. I think as you see the shot coming in, they're patient enough. They've been patient on a few occasions. I think it's Stubbs Look at Gattuso in the right back position. He's about a yard, half a yard on, and what he does really well is that he gets the ball out his feet. What can you say about this guy?
I know.
I mean, even, okay, it's not going to count, but I mean, it's absolutely sensational, the saves he's had.
Well, at least we didn't write him off before the game had started today, and he produced an even better save slightly later on, didn't he?
Yeah, he's, as I say, he can make saves that win matches, and he's made 2 saves which have kept Rangers in the driving seat in the first half.
Here's the second.
Yeah, this was John Boyd picking, as Andy Gray said, he was just starting to get the better of Gattuso towards the end of the first half. Brat Pack made a great run across Richard Gough.
Yeah.
And then it was down to Brat Pack versus Andy Gorham. And Andy was up to it. And he actually spreads himself very, very well here. Great technique in keeping his hands wide. Brat Pack was favourite to score, but Andy was equal to it.
Craig, you isolated Rangers' potential match winner as Laudrup, and he almost created a chance on the stroke of half-time for Negri. In fact, from our angle here, where we are in the corner of the ground, we saw how close it was
It was
for
very
Negri.
close. It was a brilliant play by Laudrup again. Twice he's got away from Anoni, and on this occasion he created a marvellous chance, but there was no one there. Negri wasn't there in time. This is terrific. A good tackle, I thought initially, but Laudrup got the ball clear, and his pass across the face of the goal was perfect. But
See how close that is? That's a stud.
very close. It's a stud distance, yeah.
Such a teasing cross, isn't it? But, I mean, the times that he has got away from Anoni, he's shown his threat every time, and that's the danger. They've got to concentrate the whole 90 minutes on Laudrup.
Trevor, in just a few words, please, Rangers' view?
Well, it started very well, settled into the game, you know, better than I thought they would have expected. It's always a midfield battle. It's always Lambert, Vikhorst and Burley against Turn, Alberts and Ian Ferguson. That's the deciding factor in these games. Rangers had it early on, but Celtic came back into it.
It is a great battle. Join us for the second half. All to play for here. We have 2 football specials coming up this weekend on Sky Sports. Here tonight at 6, a special Sky Sports Centre FA Cup third round preview, and tomorrow night 5:30 over on Sky Sports 2, highlights from the FA Cup third round itself. More football tonight and tomorrow night on Sky Sports. And much more to come here from Celtic Park. Rangers, the leaders in Scotland, but Celtic have matched them in this one so far. Trevor, second half, how do you see it going for Rangers?
Well, I think there will be goals in the game, and whoever gets that first goal, it's going to be crucial, I think. It might just be the one goal. I would suggest that they'll just carry on playing the same way, just keep it tight. I did feel that in the first half, the Rangers were perhaps defending a little bit too deeply, and Brat Pack and Larson were starting to pick up balls in areas where they could turn and run at the defence. So I'm sure Walter will get his players a bit further forward.
Charlie, do you see goals?
Yeah, I do. Like Trevor, I think the first team to score will win the game. But in saying that, I think Rangers have maybe overpassed in the midfield there.
Craig, finally?
Yeah, I think Gascoigne will come on and maybe change things for Rangers, but it's a very close game at the moment, and I predicted a draw. I think it will be a draw.
Thank you. Back we go to Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, chaps. Just to remind you, a Celtic win would put them second on goal difference over Hearts, 1 point behind Rangers. A Rangers victory, and they would go 7 clear of Celtic, 4 clear of Jim Jeffries' Tynecastle team, Heart of Midlothian. Andy, have you seen anything so far to suggest that either manager might be looking to change things at the start of the second half?
No, I don't. I think when a game is tight as this, Martin, and Craig Brown will know more than I, but they're loath to change it. Because I don't think they need to at the moment. I think both will be fairly happy. I think they'll give it 15-20 minutes, see if anything happens, and then we might just see who actually wants to win the game a little bit more.
Rangers start the second half. Well forward is Alec Cleland. Oh, and Alberts. And the ball bounced away from him. almost as if he was caught cold at the start of the second half, because there was a reasonable amount of space there. Celtic would have been frustrated to see the room that he had, but maybe a quick first touch and a swing of that famous left foot, and we might have had a sensational start to the second half.
I think the pace of the ball dictated Albert's decision, Martin. I think if it arrived a little bit slower at him, he would have hit it first time. I think Cleland felt he had to fizz it to him and get it past a couple of players. And then when he did that, Albert's decided, I need a touch, but his touch wasn't a good one.
There's an untidy challenge by Negri on Stubbs. Free kick quickly taken by Celtic. Bhoys. There's an awkward bend on that, and it rather discomforted Richard Gough. It's gone behind for the corner, but much nearer to Andy Gurham's right-hand post than either Gurham or Gough would have liked.
Yeah, he's in a decent position to deal with the cross, but the bend on the ball, and I think the wind as well, played a little part here. Never troubling Gurham. An easy header ended up being a difficult one for Richard Gough, and pressure on early in the second half from Celtic.
Good movement first to the ball by Alberts. McNamara can put it in again. Bhoys got a foot to it. Lambert trying to wriggle away through, almost Laudrup-like. Celtic's throw. Larson back to McNamara. Stubbs trying to get there. Burley arriving from midfield, and the ball flying over his head. A strong spell this from Celtic. Bhoys, Henrik Larsson, and Burley. Celtic claiming and getting a corner.
Good pressure, but again a bad touch from one of the more talented players, and that was Larsson. As he's played in here, it's far too far away from his body, but he does retrieve it. Cleland just enough. Good pressure.
Reaper coming from the edge of the area. McNamara's corner. Stops going for the far post goal and reaches it. Larsson.
Well, Stubbs did stick one in there. The game here, not so long ago, didn't even have a corner from that side. It came back out, came back in, and Stubbs netted a late equaliser. He's looking for that same corner. This time a combination. Gurham and Gattuso just keeps this out, and I mean just. He's an absolute full stretch, Andy Gurham, and it's only his fingertips that get it out.
Larsson trying to put some pressure on Perini here.
Good pace to the play, Celtic. I think that's the thing they've done better since 20 minutes in. They've upped the tempo of the play. They've played it a little bit quicker all over the pitch.
What has been a bit different today, maybe under Wim Jansen, is that the Celtic attacking play is more controlled, maybe less helter-skelter. They've always had a cavalier reputation in the past. Sometimes that's been their undoing against Rangers, but he's got a defence that he can trust, Wim Jansen. And when the side push forward, they do so as a unit. Bhoys tricking Gattuso. Well, again, the whistle has gone on the premature side. If it's a free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, it will be a free kick to Celtic. Gattuso just pulls Bhoys shut. You'd have thought the referee should have let that just go a little bit longer. Good pressure. Sorry, Martin, they've had good pressure on these. They've delivered good balls into good areas.
Burley. Still. And where's this going to break to? It's Ian Ferguson who was the decisive figure, and in fact...
And he's blown it back again, Martin. 2 or 3 times now. The referee's just been a little bit quick on the trigger. It's absolutely here, everyone's in. You don't know where the ball's going, who's the free kick for. Eventually Ferguson breaks out. That's a free kick, yeah. They've broken rather quickly. I still think Celtic have got to be careful, Martin. You mentioned the pressure and they defend better. And they're more disciplined. Yes, they are. But I still think if they get a little bit carried away with pressure, and certainly with Negri and Laudrup, they could be punished quite simply and quite easily.
Alberts. Tigerish work again from Lambert. quickly on the scene again. And here's Larsson trying to find some extra speed and a bit of strength as well, but he wasn't entitled to that.
Well, it's an interesting one. When they're going at it pretty much together, is it shoulder to shoulder, which Larsson's claiming? I mean, I think that's harsh. I do. I honestly think that's harsh. I think he was just stronger there.
But will Celtic be stronger over this particular piece? In terms of meaning, not just for this season, but you do feel something of a complex could be lifted by just one win when it matters over the Old Firm. I use that expression because they talk about the last Celtic win in the league in May 1995 as a meaningless match. Rangers had already been the championship. I don't think you could ever say that there's a meaningless game between these two teams, but you get the drift. And the season still up for grabs at New Year. It's been a successful time for Rangers under Walter Smith. They've been strong over the second half of so many a season under his management. But if Celtic could put the brakes on them here, well, you never know. 10 in a row might not be. Larsson tricking Perini. Henrik Larsson for Celtic. Burley. Tom Boyd is there. Burley couldn't squeeze it on to Bratback, which is what he was trying to do. This is Weghorst. Boyd can cross. Larsson coming in, but it doesn't reach him. Goff saw to that. McNamara. Harris by Alberts. Heading for what he hopes is a little bit of room nearer the touchline. It's gone out, has it?
I think that's a bit harsh as well. I think that was quick. I mean, I'd like to see that again. I don't think that's gone out. Neither does Lambert. I mean, I've not got the best angle. I'm not right in line with it here. Over the halfway line, but did it go out? Is the whole ball out? I don't think it is.
Well, Celtic won't complain if they score from the corner. That so nearly did materialise as Weghorst went in.
That's poor marking, that. You watch this as Weghorst. I think it's Stubbs. They're basically both of them climbing over Ferguson. He's there on his own. I mean, he needs a bit of help because they'll just continue to dump the ball in when they get corners. Because they're winning them now. They're winning the headers. They're starting to win one or two of those little battles now that we talked about first half. And they're certainly the dominant force in the match at the moment.
Alberts. Negri. But there's always Laudrup if they can get the ball to him. And then his responsibility to try and stop that happening. Ferguson. And Perini has got it through to Alberts, and Celtic had players who weren't goal side then. A little trio caught too far forward, and Alberts claiming that his shot was blocked by an arm. Larsson slipped as he played it.
Burley's given him a bit of a problem in midfield with his running, Martin. He's made 2 or 3 runs already in this half, but he hasn't been picked up.
Cleland. Well, Laudrup was there, and only wasn't, but the job was done for him by Stubbs. Larsson won't get that.
Well, he started to play a bit last in second half. I thought it was pretty quiet in the opening 45, whether he was just easing his way back. That hamstrings are very dodgy things. You've got to really warm them up. Might have taken him that long, but he looks hot now. He looks as if he's up for it. I think there's 2 things happening in games at this level. Whereas if you're Rangers, you defend and you know you're on having a bad time, but you've got to keep them out. You just think in games like this, when you're dominating and the importance of scoring a goal.
Stubbs setting off with ambition again, looking for Bratt back, but McCall was close enough to him to make sure he didn't stray off that line that he was committed to running. That meant he couldn't get to the ball.
Well, Rangers just can't keep hold of it. When it comes out that defending third mark, it's coming straight back in again.
Larson asked too much of it. But it's been a splendid start to the second half from Celtic.
Again, this is a decent ball in. And again, it's only inches away from connecting with its target.
Well, the floodlights have been on here, and you can see some of them are no longer operating for us. We seem to have had that problem, whether it's north or south of the border.
So again there, Martin Burley just joining up with that back. Might have just played it to McNamara a touch early. Thought he could have gone on himself.
We should point out that we should finish in daylight here, whatever happens. But there's Annoni in front of Lambert. Certainly influencing proceedings, Paul Lambert. And letting others from midfield move further forward, like Burley. It's Burley's tackle. But he's hurt himself in doing it.
No, I don't think it's a great... His first touch, it gets away from him, and he does jump in.
And Negri is going to be at least spoken to and may well be booked for this.
I wouldn't surprise me if he is booked, because he did jump in late. And it looks like it is going to be a yellow card. Or
so Negri joins McCall.
I think Tom Bhoys in trouble, one way or the other, whether it's just going to have a word with him. He's called him over, the referee. I think he's just going to have a quick word with him. I think he's just suggesting there, I don't want you running 40 yards to tell me to book someone. I'm quite capable of doing it myself.
Well, Burley's back in business. Free kick taken by Annoni. Not able to control, more pressure applied to the Rangers player on the ball. It was Larson on McCall then. Been the story so far of the second half. Game staged very much in this half of the pitch. But it hasn't produced a goal for Celtic. Annoni. Burley backing into Jonas Tem. Alberts with a quick free kick, but not an accurate one. And Walter Smith's going to make a change. And it's Rino Gattuso who's coming off. And Gordon Dury, who recently got a hat-trick against Hearts. That didn't guarantee him a place today when he was available again.
I don't think he's been picked to get a hat-trick today if that's a straight swap. He's going to play this right side. And obviously concerned with Gattuso's fitness and the joy that Tom Bhoys got at the end of the first half, at the end of the first half, and the way a lot of their plays come down this left side second half.
He's the only other outfield substitute available to Rangers is Paul Gascoigne. Bratt back. Rangers back off. Bratt back going on! It's Bhoys. It's Larson. It's appeals from Celtic.
Well, it hit Cleland. I don't know if he knew a lot about it. But again, Brattbach said, I like the look of this guy. What a run this is. Full of drive, full of quality. Really goes at golf, commits him. But once again, he thinks he's given his side the lead. It wasn't to be, and then, well, it hits the woodwork. I'm not sure about anything off Cleland.
There is Cleland. And McNamara stretching for the same ball. Burley and Jury likewise, and Noni. Oh, it's a Perini rather ducking in, but a chance for Jury to carry Rangers forward on the counter-attack here. He's got 3 to his left. Laudrup. Negri's in the centre. Albert is in the centre, and now Jury is there himself. As Brian Laudrup looks for the angle for the cross. The goal kick is the decision.
Yeah, you can never often accuse Brian Laudrup of overdoing it, but he did there. But once again, Rangers are grateful for having that man in goal. This is a super run, and he gets up quickly, but look at Gorham. He's 7, 8, 9 yards out of his goal. He's right in his face, and this is the one. Well, was it a combination of Cleland? It certainly hit the post. Did it just nick off Cleland's shoulder as well?
Celtic unabashed to continue to carry the fight forward. But they're getting closer and closer. And but for Gorham, well, maybe they'd almost be secure in a victory here.
Well, we saw yesterday 2-0 is never secure, but certainly in a game like this, you do feel if someone gets a goal, it might be enough. If they were to get 2 up, then that really would be a mountain to climb for. The team offside. Rangers are really struggling at the moment. They're under pressure, they're trying to organise. They're in trouble with the runners from midfield. This is easy, well, is it offside? Ball's played early. And that's that one where he crosses over. That's probably one each now, eh?
Burley.
He's the man at the moment, Martin Burley. Turner's really got to take some responsibility.
And Burley gets the better of him when it was Turn's ball by some distance a moment ago. Cleland, he can't get out. Celtic give him the throw.
That's what happens. They're up for it.
Well, a touch. Celtic hope of cramp for Henrik Larsson, and not a recurrence of the hamstring strain.
Well, that would be a worry if it was the hamstring. He's really worked hard in the second half. These 20 minutes almost, Henrik Larsson, he's figured prominently. Made a lot of runs. He'll be anxious that it isn't that hamstring. He certainly wouldn't want him to pull it even more. If it's a tweak, you can get away with a week, 2 weeks. But if it really goes, then you're talking 8, 10, 12 weeks sometimes, it's severe enough. Celtic wouldn't want to lose him for that length of time.
Simon Donnelly wondering whether he might be required. And Paul Gascoigne will have to be careful about his response to any barracking from the Celtic fans. The other Rangers substitute, incidentally, is the backup goalkeeper, Theo Snelders. McNamara gets the cross in. I'll take any sort of goal any which way. That would have been a freak for Tom Boyd.
No, he shouldn't be allowed to get this cross in. It's as simple as that, but he does. McNamara works it and he gets it in. It's a decent ball in. I mean, Tom Boyd's unlucky. He didn't know anything about it.
Brattbach to Larsson. For Weghorst. And Brattbach. Oh, the flag is up.
Well, that'll be interesting.
It was brilliant play from Celtic.
Wonderful play. And again, it's a midfield runner, Martin, who gets in. This time it ain't Burley, it's Weghorst. But great vision. He knows the run's there. Is this offside? Well, that's debatable, I have to say. Not quite right in line with it here. I didn't think he was offside when it happened. But they go through, and yet once again, Gorham remains undefeated.
And what a duel it's become between Andy Gorham and Harold Brattbach in particular.
Well, I talked about individual battles, but I didn't have that one in mind. Now, Rangers can't get a hold in the game at all.
Celtic stride on through Boyd. ideas at the end. It, for all the appealing, ended rather tamely. Cleland.
Problem Rangers have got, they need to get someone on, Mark, who can get hold of the ball. Now, if you're not going to get it to Lambert, who's up front, then you've got to get someone from midfield into midfield. I mean, Gascoigne's the only outfield player they've got left. You would think that there's got to be a thought in Watersmith's mind at the moment to get someone who can actually get the ball, hold it, and perhaps run with it. Because at the moment, it's just a tide going from right to left as we look at it.
And that was a miss-hit by D. Of course, he was worried, but Celtic had a bit to spare. Here's Lambert again for McNamara. Rangers, you feel, are here for the taking. It's Craig Burley! Well, it's been on the cards. And Burley has broken through for Celtic.
Well, it's a magnificent, magnificent goal. And it's all down to Jackie McNamara's ability here. Watch as he makes a diagonal run towards us. But look at that for a reverse pass. The quality's there because Burley needn't take a touch on it. He can steady himself, and that's a great finish. And even Gordon, who's on magnificent form, can do nothing. It's been on the cards. It's arrived right on cue for Celtic.
Quite a terrific tally. 10 for Burley, but none so sweet. Particularly if it does more than give them the lead. It's done that. If it can now be the inspiration for this crave-for victory for Celtic.
Well, I said about 20 minutes ago, he was a man who seems to have changed the second half. He was making run after run, and you can't allow someone who scores goals to make run after run and not be picked up. Great build-up play, found himself with his one big chance, and my goodness, he stuck it in beautifully.
Here's Ted. Negri. But you cannot doubt the merit of Celtic being in front. It was just a question whether they could crown their superiority, this spell of 20 strong minutes in the second half, with a goal that their performance deserved.
Well, what a last quarter we've got here. Rangers simply have to go forward. They've changed it already, Martin. I think they've pushed Jury up front. Certainly he's a lot further forward. They might go to the back four. With Stuart McCall at right back. Now Wim Jansen's worry will be immediately after that goal. His team have got to stand firm, stand strong, not concede, but perhaps pinch another.
And still no Gascoigne. One that could have gone either way.
Well, it's who to take off. I think Gascoigne's getting stripped off, the tracksuit's coming off.
Well, they look even more to Negri now, the master goal scorer to Rangers. And they've got to make a bullet or two for him to fire. Loudon trying to be that manufacturer. Farini. Lambert missed the continuity in his play. Held up well by Larson. McNamara, who's never been in a winning Celtic side in a league game. And he's taking Rangers on again, having been a prime mover in the opening goal. Slotted away characteristically by Burley.
They're going to sleep, Rangers.
Lambert's cross. That was the towering Weghorst. Headed by Boyd. New Celtic, if you like, with so many changes, trying to overturn the old enemy. McCall. Well, Celtic will take the free kick in those circumstances. Gascoigne still waits. Walter Smith has plenty to say to Archie Knox. Larson holding off Perini. Well read by Tem. But then the pass wasn't a good one. Larson got in the way. Goff's got a Celtic player either side of him. But he didn't panic. Nor did Perini. But Ferguson did, or certainly couldn't play the pass that Rangers needed to.
Well, that should be the signal right now.
It's Alberts who's taken off. Gascoigne is back. Had a critical time for Rangers. The goatee beard, touch of ginger in the hair. But we know what we can expect from him on the pitch, and he comes into 98 on the back of a very strong 97, particularly with England. He's taken part in all of Glenn Hoddle's last 8 internationals. Great faith in him by the England head coach, and now it's Rangers who look for his inspiration to try and find a route to recovery here.
Isn't always easy either to come on as a substitute, Martin, in a match like this and pick up the pace of the game immediately.
That's not bad. Here's McCall. Gascoigne to Cleland. During. Send only to Lambert.
Well, it's going to be dangerous if Celtic just try and camp on the edge of the box. 20 minutes to go. Just under.
Laudrup. Back with Ferguson. Now Cleland. Negri hook onto it, it bounces away from the call. Yes, the psychology of it is fascinating as well, because Rangers haven't been at the races in the second half, and yet suddenly Celtic score, and then there are players behind the ball.
Certainly was a goal, yeah, it was an absolutely super goal. McNamara's part was a huge one. Gorham had been defiant up till then, can do absolutely nothing about that. Wonderful finish from Craig Burley.
Yes, he'd been a giant, Andy Gorham, but Burley cut him down to size. Gascoigne. A different dimension.
Oh, better touch and he's in. Did take a little touch on the way through, a little deflection on its way to Jury.
Offside had enough force on it as we come to the final 15 minutes. And the Celtic fans wish it was the final 15 seconds. Gascoigne. No foul. Larson. Not quite the midfield support now when the Celtic go forward. Play on again the message from Hugh Dallas. The Rangers benefit this time.
Well, much has been made of Celtic being stronger at the back and more disciplined. They've got the goal they've tried for, they've prayed for. 15 minutes ago. I wonder if a defensive unit will be tested. Certainly I think Lambert's got a job on now, hasn't he? You'd feel sure he'll stick as close to Paul Gascoigne as he can. And deny him space and time and opportunity to influence the game.
Ferguson. tear. That handball. That's what's been called. Larson. He was not too happy about the pass that allowed Goff to get across. And goes the left, white-booted side of Anone.
Yeah, Wim Jansen just calling Paul Lambert there, Mark. He just got a header, Gascoigne. Just calling him back, goal side of him.
Lambert.
He's done well on Only for me today. I know Laudrup, he's only flashed a couple of times, but that's about all. He's stuck well to his task. Fairness to Laudrup, he's had scant little of the ball second half to do much with.
Lambert's corner. Banged away by Burley. Richard Goff making a good run here to receive the throw. Back for Gascoigne.
Not sure what it was, not sure whether it was an attempt at a goal or whether it was a cross. It ended up being neither. Goff got in here clear and alarmingly easy. Little feedback. I'm not sure what that was. Looks like he was trying to squeeze it in the corner, but ambitious even for Paul standards.
Stops. Ball by Ferguson.
Well, they're setting the stall out now, Celtic, not to concede, Mark. They've moved Boyd. They've almost gone a back four with Anone and Boyd wide of Reaper and Stubbs against the three up front for Rangers of Laudrup, Negri and Jury.
Bratback missed the ball, but seemed to unsettle Clowen. Gascoigne. Now McCall. There's Anone again. A little bit light. Like alongside Laudrup. Lambert. Well, Vicor's taking a chance there. And McCall not only won the ball, he got beyond Paul Lambert. And Stuart McCall looking at the referee, saying, surely I was fouled as I played the ball then. Hugh Dallas didn't see it that way. You just see in these sort of games how much Paul Lambert has learnt playing in the Bundesliga and his Champions League experience. Goff. Here's Lambert, who now has to try and cope with Gascoigne. The first real flashpoint in the match, and it's taken the best part of 80 minutes to come.
But he's only just come on. I mean, this is his style, it's been his style, and people might think that Paul Gascoigne, this is just since he's been in Glasgow. It's not. I mean, this is his style. He gets his arms up, he looks to protect himself all the time.
Well, he's been missing because of what happened in an Old Firm fixture here. Ferguson. Jury playing for something he's not going to get.
Well, the referee's right in line with it. He's given a free kick against Gordon Jury, but this is when Jury looks to try and just play the ball in. I mean, That's a hard one for the referee to call. I have to say, if you're Celtic, you're thinking, well defended, Alan Stubbs, because you got your left arm blind side of the referee, and he's never going to see that.
And you're convinced Jury's backing in. It's Jury trying to slide it through for Lambert. But really, you can talk about the tactics and going into now a defensive mode, and if it works, they win 1-0. All credit to everyone involved, but in another way, they've handed the initiative to Rangers. And Lambert now was grabbing hold of Gascoigne, and he's going to be careful. If he grabs hold of the referee, he'll be off. It's a yellow card. Gascoigne's off, but not getting very far. Here is Lambert. It is what you might call the continental way to try and put the shackles on now. But the goal coming at a time where Celtic really were steamrolling Rangers. And now it's a different sort of game, and there might yet be another goal to come. But here's Larson, hoping that it comes Celtic's way. He's got Bratt back with him.
I don't think this, what we're seeing now, is so much the continental way, Martin. It's the Glasgow way when you've played in a game for 11 years at New Year's Eve and you haven't won one, and you take the lead with 20 minutes to go. That's what it is. They know the importance of this for themselves this season and for the fans, that they hold on to this.
And having conceded, what, 13 goals in the league only this season, maybe they will look at those figures and say that justifies the policy, but we shall see. McCall, Negri. Here comes Jonas turn, but not a great first touch.
I'd be surprised at times today the amount of bad first touches quality players have had on the ball in important areas. I mean, this is under no pressure at all. I think he might be tired, he might be a little bit mentally tired as well, Terms. Hasn't played an awful lot of football recently.
Yes, he's been out of the picture through family reasons. He's had to go back home to Sweden. Jury, not quite for Gascoigne to collect, in an area of the pitch where he can be such a threat to the opposition. It's Ferguson. Phil Dallas telling Gascoigne he saw what happened. Well, that's going to be a problem for Boyd. We shall see. Gascoigne. Cleland. Ferguson. Goff's the extra man here. Celtic happy if it's being passed in front of them, and then Tom Boyd came out to break up the play, and he goes on ahead. To be found by Lambert, closed down by Jury,
and he'll get booked after all his troubles. Referee just making his way over. Tackle on Gascoigne. He saw it, he marked it, he's booked it.
And he told Gascoigne pretty much at the time, I think, that that was going to happen. Gascoigne was sitting on the ground complaining. Well, Bratt certainly can be pleased with what he's shown in his first start for Celtic. And Darren Jackson, who has come back from the most worrying of circumstances as regards his personal health to be involved as a footballer again. And everyone in the game absolutely delighted by that. He's on as a substitute here and looking for a link-up with McNamara. Stubbs, who's played with great authority. And the three-course turned his back on it, whether he thought he was offside and had to get out of the way. Oh, great stop from Sorum by the effort from Jackson. Now Larson. The second one will surely settle it for Celtic. That's Lambert! Oh, what a way to settle it! Paul Lambert! No chance for Gorham, no chance now for Rangers today.
For 20 minutes, his job has been defensive, to get Gascoigne to shackle him. He gets forward and he hits the most stunning of strikes he's ever likely hit in his career. It's unstoppable, it's unsavable. It's an absolutely magnificent way for Celtic to finish their afternoon. Take that, you just do not save them. Take a bow from, that's a great goal in a game like this.
His first goal for Celtic, he'll never hit a better one. Paul Lambert. And it is bedlam at Celtic Park. Jury. Negri can't get there. Jonathan Gould, who's had a pretty quiet afternoon.
Yeah, how can you argue with the scoreline, Martin? Jonathan Gould had not one save that I can remember he's had to make. Andy Gordon's been magnificent, and he's let in two. You just can't argue with this scoreline.
As far as league matches are concerned, this has been as good as it got for Celtic for a long, long time. Remember, they hadn't won any of the last 10 league meetings between these two rivals. Cleland's not giving it up. Negri. Well, he couldn't do what Paul Lambert did.
What a striker. I mean, look at Andy Gordon. It starts to move away from him the minute it leaves Paul Lambert's boots. And the power and the precision on it. You could have two goalkeepers in there, Martin. You just wouldn't have stopped that.
Wim Janssen's got his composure back. He's not one to let his emotions run wild, but what a grin of glee when our cameras caught him at the moment Lambert took off on that celebratory run. Weghorst, Jackson, foul by Goff. Andy, man of the match.
Well, I'm so surprised that he's wearing green and white today, Martin, and I think they've had a lot of great performers. Reaper at the back's been magnificent, Anoni in midfield, Lambert's goal, but I think second half has been one guy who started the ball rolling their way, and that was Craig Burley. He started to pose problems all through it, and then he's superb first goal just opened the way for Celtic. So my man of the match is Craig Burley.
And he'll be able to relax and watch his old club, Chelsea, in our next big game live on the Sky Sports against Manchester United, the third round of the FA Cup. That's on Sunday. And Craig Burley will be able to do that in the knowledge he's had a huge part in a huge match here. Ferguson, Gascoigne, not going to happen for Rangers. We're into stoppage time. It's been such a great collective effort from Wim Janssen's players. This reconstructed team under the new head coach from Holland. And Rangers have looked poor in comparison today, despite the brighter beginning. But after that time, there's really not been a spell, maybe 5 minutes or so after Celtic's first goal, when goes Negri. That spell when Celtic were just concentrating on getting men behind the ball to make a stout-hearted defence of the one goal. Goff claiming that Seahorse made a meal of that.
Well, he just tries to nick it back, and I mean, it's much ado about nothing. He gets caught, but to be fair to Seahorse, he popped it pretty quickly. Switches Goff and booked for it. Whether it warranted a booking, I'm not so sure, but the one thing you know, it won't spoil the day. The Celtic are bad. I have to agree with you, Martin. I think apart from 15 minutes in this match, Rangers have been second best for the rest of it. And Celtic's second half performance, in the first 25 minutes it was a positive one. They grasped this game, they really went at Rangers, and the result is theirs.
It's a big breakthrough for Celtic, a league win at last over Rangers after 10 unsuccessful attempts. After a 10-year gap, they've finally won a New Year Old Firm fixture, and they've shown their capability to make 10 titles in a row, far from a formality for the champions. It was the midfield men who came up with the goods today in terms of the goals.
Once again, looking for George Adams.
Craig Burley, the man of the match, struck the vital first one. And then Paul Lambert, recently brought back to Scotland from Germany's Bundesliga, where he got a real taste of the big time. And he shares the joy with the Celtic fans who are in raptures. Celtic leapfrog, Hearts on goal difference. They are both a point behind Rangers. Stubbs was splendid at the back, Reaper a rock. Collectively, Celtic thoroughly deserved to win the day. It's only the second league defeat of the season for Walter Smith's side. And Celtic, with so many new players this campaign, they've done what others of recent vintage couldn't manage. They have taken 3 points off their great rivals. McNamara to Burley, 1-0, and Andy, that was the moment really, because had they not got what they were threatening to do, well, what we've seen follow couldn't have happened. And Lambert with an absolute pile driver. Your final thoughts?
Can't argue, Martin. I enjoyed the game. I thought it took a long time to warm up. A very nervy-looking Celtic started the match. A very confident-looking Celtic finished it. And at the end of it, they've got what they've craved for many, many a game now. A positive result from the match, and that, I mean, a win. And you can't argue. Rangers might analyse this game and think things could have been different. They couldn't have really. They took the game by the scruff of the neck at the beginning of the second half. They pushed forward. They went at Celtic. They went at Rangers. They really tested them. And just when you thought you might be getting to that spot, 20-25 minutes in, where Rangers might have weathered the storm, up popped Craig Burley with that fine goal.
You saw some of the Celtic players not involved today, celebrating their Tommy Johnson, Andreas Tom. They've waited a long time, and of course in 1988, the last time that Celtic won the New Year fixture, they went on to win the championship. Will that happen in 1998? We shall see. It's going to be fun watching from the Celtic point of view. It's been great watching today. Celtic 2, Rangers 0.
And thanks to Martin Tyler and Andy Gray. Celtic stay here then. Still to come on our 3 sports channels today. It's Transworld Sport here at 4:30, and at 6 a special sports centre FA Cup third round special, followed at 7 tonight by Test cricket highlights. Day 1 of the second Test, Australia against South Africa. There's live World Championship darts over on Sky Sports 2 from 5 this afternoon, and over on Sky Sports 3, Orlando Magic take on the New York Knicks in this week's NBA basketball at 6. At 10, wrestling action from the WWF Raw. Here, the party will continue, no doubt, for Celtics fans. Thoughts of Charlie Nicholas, Craig Brown and Trevor Stephen when we come back, and we'll get reaction from both camps. We're just getting our breaths back here at Celtic Park. This is an historic scoreline if Celtic is your team. 2-0 winners over Rangers today. And on the whole, the game was theirs. 14 attempts at goal to just 5 for Rangers. 7 on target for Celtic. Not one all day for Rangers. That's the saddest statistic of all for them, perhaps. 2 bookings for Celtic, Lambert and Boyd, McCall, Negri and Goff for Rangers. It was very tight in the first half, 52% squeezed into the middle third. Wonder if it was different after the break. Probably, well, even more pronounced actually in the middle third of the field, although it felt one-way traffic at times in the second period toward the Rangers' goal. Celtic won't be arguing over the facts and figures. They have the 3 points in the bag. Davy Province speaking to their goal scorers today.
Craig, the Celtic supporters have waited 10 years for a New Year's derby win. Can you describe how sweet this moment is for you?
I think it's a magnificent feeling for all the boys, Davy. Everybody involved with the club, you know, we got criticised heavily after last week's performance, but you can't bounce back with a better performance than that, and I thought at the end of the day we created a lot of chances, and Harold could have had a couple. Fortunately managed to get in the end of one again, and what a goal from this man next to me.
What about your goal, first of all? Is that as important a strike as you've ever scored in your career so far?
I think so, because I think it takes the pressure off a little bit. You know, you begin to realise when you haven't beat Rangers for so long that it tends to mount on you. And even though there's a lot of new players here, we're still under a lot of pressure, and you can see the relief in the fans out there.
And then this man eased most of the tension. Paul, you couldn't have struck it much better, could you?
No, it's just luck, really. Get one like that and it was in, no problem.
What do you think this will do for the dressing room? Because Rangers seem to have had Celtic in some kind of psychological armlock over the last few seasons.
Only in the media creates that sort of feeling. Personally, just being here, I don't feel that because I'm just new to it. It didn't bother me. We had to go there and win, but it counts for nothing if we don't win next week.
And you've narrowed the gap now to 1 point. Is it now game on?
Of course, it's going to be game on. I think right to the end. It's a long haul at the end of the season, and if we can keep playing the way we have been, then hopefully we'll not be too far away.
Craig, Wim Jansen altered the style today. Played with 2 strikers up front. Were you a bit happy with that system?
I think we've been reasonably happy with the 1-up because we have caused teams a lot of problems, but the last couple of Rangers games we haven't managed to create too many chances. I think today we did create the chances, so, but you know, we've got the squad now, we can change it about, and that shows the quality we're bringing in, and now after this performance we've got to go on from here, and it's important now we perform like that every week.
You like a glass of champagne, don't you?
I like more than that, David, I tell you.
Well, Paul's got it and you're the man of the match. Paul, will you do the honours? Well done, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
He's probably had to deny himself a little bit over the festive season, but tonight might be the night to make up for it. Trevor Stephen, Craig Brown and Charlie Nicholas watched it with us. It should be you, really, in all fairness, to go first.
Of course.
But you're not allowed to smile.
Well, listen, it's been so long coming. A lot of the Celtic fans have been giving me stick because I went for Rangers to get a result today. I did say, I felt if Celtic would have changed the system today of late and they scored first, they could go on and win this game. But I've got to hold my hands up and say the 2 Scots were the 2 guys who won it. The 2 goal scorers dominated the whole second half for me. Wonderful displays from the pair of them.
Scotland coach, take note.
Delighted that the 2 Scottish boys, as Charlie says, because a lot of foreign players out there, particularly foreign strikers, but 2 wonderful goals from our guys, and I think Jonathan Gould had his easiest game of the season, actually.
Yeah. Not a shot on target from Rangers.
So that tells the story.
Trevor, any plus points for Rangers at all right now?
Not really. Well and truly beaten. If you look at the first half, it was fairly even, but look at the second half, it was one-way traffic. It was a matter of time before Celtic actually, broke the deadlock. And we said at half-time, if whoever scores the first goal, we'll go on and win it. And there was no way that Rangers were going to come back into it. Even introducing Gascoigne late on in the game, it was a last throw of the dice, really.
One newcomer today, Harold Bratback, starting again for Celtic for the first time. He's talking to Davy Province.
Well, Harold, how would you describe your first Old Firm experience?
Well, it was very good, and we had a win 2-0. That's very good, and the atmosphere, it's unbelievable. We were cheered on by the supporters, and they are our 12th man.
This was your first start for Celtic. When were you told that you were playing?
I was told that today, a couple of hours before the match, and I was glad to have the chance to try it from start.
And were you quite happy with the partnership you struck up with Henrik?
Yeah, I think we found each other quite well, but I had a couple of chances that I should have put away, but that comes, I think.
Did you think at that stage, when Andy Gorham did, as he normally does in these games, and made some great saves from you, did you think at that stage, here we go again?
No, this was my first match against Rangers, so I had everything to win, and I went out on the field to really fight, and I think we deserved a win today.
The pace was a bit quick. How are the legs now?
They are tired, but that's how it should be. We should be going 100% all the way, and that's what we did, and that's what gave us the 3 points.
And will the new year start in earnest tonight for Harold Bratback?
Hopefully it will.
Well done, Harold. Thanks.
Thank you.
What do you think of him, Charlie?
Yeah, I liked him. I think he's very positive. He likes to run in the inside our defenders, which is good. Good mobility. I can't have a static forward. Celtic don't play a static man forward. They've got to have movement. He's not the strongest, he's not the target man type, so he's got to be on the move. And I think after 25 or so minutes today, I think he got into his stride and he started looking impressive.
Well, Craig, it did appear that Rangers actually started perhaps the better side.
They did. I think, in fact, the recent results made it easier for Rangers to start well, and Celtic's bad result last week put them a bit tentative. But once they get into their stride, there was no question at the start of the second half that Celtic were by far the better side.
The story of the match here, and Trevor, I know you're quite strong on this. You felt this was a Rangers penalty.
Yeah, that was a penalty, but you know, sometimes these things go for you and sometimes they don't, and today Rangers didn't get that decision. But you know, they've got no argument as to who deserved to win this.
Just expand for us. You said at half-time you felt that they were sitting back defensively a little too much.
I thought so. I thought the first 20 minutes, Gattuso was quite prominent on the right-hand side. But there we saw Tom Bhoys just getting a little bit of the influence in the game. Brat Pack coming through off goal. Gordon making a great save. There were one or two crucial points in that first half, and this was one of them. That actually kept Rangers in the game at that point.
We were beginning to think, here we go again. Andy Gorham broke Tommy Burns' hearts. He's going to start to do it to Janssen today.
This is the only real threat I felt the whole first half, even though Rangers had a good start, was a bit of magic from Laudrup. I've got to say, it's amazing. We've got to give credit to Annoni. It was all Celtic second half, and as soon as Laudrup was marked out of the game by Annoni, Rangers never looked at the races. They didn't have any imagination. There was no guile to the play. They just simply accepted that they were second best, and it set up corner kicks and free kicks. You felt Celtic were always going to get a goal.
But we've watched so many Old Firm games like this where Celtic have battered Rangers and Rangers have come through it.
Right, but Charlie made the point. Annoni's there now, Reaper's there now, and I think they're very solid. The subs in between the two of them. And once they Celtic get a goal, you could guarantee they were going to hold out for this.
Trevor, did you see hope for Rangers that they could hang on and then hit on the counter?
Well, not the way the second half started. It seemed that this Craig Burley goal obviously was the goal that Celtic deserved, and they created numerous chances before that. It was only a matter of time before they did score, and this was a good finish. A good ball from McNamara through to Burley, who was brave as a lion because he kept making those runs into the box.
That's the one guy you want there.
Yeah.
You have a straight one goal. That's the one midfield player you want. Is Burley. He hits him ever so cleanly.
Yeah, and remember, it's another Scottish boy that gives the nice reverse pass, Jackie McNamara.
He also had a very
excellent game, Jackie.
He always felt from then, although Celtic sat in for 10 or so minutes, they just composed themselves. Every time they broke forward, they hold your breath, it's just coming up. Absolutely sensational. He's got the cheek to say it's luck. That is absolutely unbelievable. European, that's where he learned it.
Yeah, he had a great game, Paul Lambert. I actually would say he was competing strongly with Craig Burley for man of the match, but two of them magnificent in midfield, and they capped it. He capped it with that goal.
Not even Andy Gorham could save Rangers on this day. Lambert and Celtic celebrate tonight. Here's the Scottish Premier Division right now then. Hearts drop a place to third, Celtic up to second, jointly on 41 points there. Rangers still in front, but the gap at the top is down to 1 point. You know, a year ago, they went 14 points clear at this stage over New Year. Are things changing around for you, Trevor?
Well, there's no team sitting the heather on fire, as you say. Three teams are going to vie for it, I think, over the next couple of months. Somebody might come through, but certainly Rangers and Celtic are going to be there. But Hearts, good luck to them. They're doing well.
This is a good result for Hearts today, isn't it, Craig?
Good result for Hearts, in as much as it kept things a bit closer. But Hearts have got a long season ahead of them too, and I don't quite think that they have the strength and depth that Rangers and Celtic have. But they're hanging in very well, and all credit to Jim Jeffries and his team.
How will Celtic look at that table tonight, Charlie, do you think?
Oh, very pleased. I think now they're back in it. They couldn't afford to lose today. They could have accepted a draw, but to win and win convincingly, it's a major boost for them, and their fans will be right behind them now for the next few weeks.
Thanks, Charlie. When we come back from this short break, we'll have a word with both managers, and we'll look again at the goals that decided this Old Firm contest. Nice and quiet now at Celtic Park, but the memories will live a long time in the folklore of Celtic Football Club, certainly. Let's see how it's gone down with Rangers. Their boss, Walter Smith, talking to Davy Provan.
Well, Walter, clearly a disappointing afternoon for Rangers. How do you reflect on the 90 minutes?
Well, it was a disappointing afternoon. I felt that Celtic won the game in a period just after half-time. That was the first time in the game that any of the two teams had real dominance of the match. And they won it then, and unfortunately for us, we're caught chasing the game. Second goal, didn't really matter that much. It was in that period just after half-time that cost us the game.
How do you explain the performance, though, Walter? Because Rangers went into this one off the back of 2 good wins.
They did do. I mean, I don't think it's a matter of explaining it. I mean, people don't realise, you know, we've always been well motivated in the game. Celtic, you know, have had this record of Rangers wins or avoiding defeat anyway, pushed up against them for many weeks, many months now. So, you know, their level of motivation was up. But in the first half of the game, you would say it was fairly even. But, you know, Celtic's dominance came, as I say, just after half-time, especially in midfield areas of the pitch.
Was there no way that Paul Gascoigne was fit enough to start the match today?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a decision that you make. And, you know, when you've been out for 5 weeks, coming into a game that's normally very, very competitive, it's asking a bit much of him.
Do you see it as vital that you bounce back right away because you have 2 home games coming up now?
Well, I think that's a good thing for us that we have got these 2 home games. As I say, we'll have to play better than we did, especially in the second half today. But I'm sure we'll do that. But I've said to everybody that the Championship's a tight one this season, especially with Hearts being up there with Rangers and Celtic. So we can have no complaints about losing today. We'll just have to try and atone for that next week.
Walter, as usual, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dave.
Dignified words, as always, from Walter Smith. He's hardly a panicker, is he, Trevor?
No, he's not. So, but the games to follow are crucial. He knows that. But 3 points lost today. I said before the game, I don't think Celtic could afford to lose today. I think that would have almost them, you know, really having to look at themselves closely, you know, as contenders. But they've got the result. Rangers got to look at themselves now closely. They needed a lot more from midfield than they got today.
Anybody can lose a game of football. Were there any more worrying signs fundamentally with Rangers' performance?
It's just a contribution, I think, from midfield. There was nobody in there today that was putting a foot on the ball and dictating play. Celtic had all the players who were prepared to show themselves, get on the ball through Lambert, Burley, Vigos to a lesser extent. Rangers didn't have that today, and that was the difference between the sides.
Celtic had plenty of contribution from their midfield, including the 2 goals.
Well, the 2 goal scorers were exceptional. We touched on them. McNamara also had a great second half. I've got to keep looking at Rangers. I think defensively they are not right. They tried to play a lot of passing out of defence today in vulnerable positions, and that's not the successful Rangers of the past. Brilliant play from McNamara, great awareness and vision, and Burley was clever enough to be on the turn. You can see Jackie just spotting him. Lovely little angle pass. As it comes into Craig, it's easy to think there's maybe a defender closer than what you think, but he's half-turn, and that's the benefit of a goal-scoring midfielder, and he just strokes it. Gorham's been impossible to beat for, not for Craig. And you have to say Celtic had that up the sleeve today, which Rangers didn't. That player, vision and imagination.
Craig?
Yeah, I agree totally. That's the ball to beat a square back defence. When you put it in the inside right position against Stuart McCall's left foot, Stuart was going to cross on his right foot a wee bit late, and Craig Burley finished it. And of course the second goal was exceptional.
How much better a player is Lambert now than when he went to Germany?
Well, I think he's better in that he's more confidence, and of course he's playing in a different position now. He used to be an orthodox right-sided midfield player chasing the game. Now he's sitting in there in front of the back players, the back 3, and he defends very well. We found that in international context. He's exceptionally well disciplined now. He was a wee bit careless, dashing forward into gaps, then not getting back as quickly as he should. So
you'll settle for this one against Brazil, though, in the summer.
Well, that'll do us, yeah.
Should he play, of course?
Well, he's given himself a right good chance to play if he can pop them in like that, I can assure you.
This would annoy the Brazilians, though. That's the problem.
That's right. That would be a Numeneri type of motivation for them. But excellent goal. And I think, you know, if he'd played it in forward there to Jackie McNamara, Jackie looks in an offside position. But correctly, of course, he's not really interfering at all with that shot. And it hits the back of the net with venom, and a terrific goal. Even Andy Gorham couldn't get near that one.
Now, I don't want to carp about this, but Celtic have won a game today. On the other hand, they have lost 5 matches in the first half of the season. Where are they going to find the consistency?
Yeah, I think we should say that Rangers are still top of the league. They're a point clear, and Celtic have got to gain this consistency. But the confidence that they'll gain from that result will undoubtedly help them to become consistent. There's no question of that. Last week's memory of the St Johnstone result is gone, because that more than wipes it out, and I think Celtic will go from strength to strength.
Let's hear from the Celtic coach, Wim Jansen, talking to Davy.
Wim, your first new year in Scotland, it's turned out all right, has it not?
Yeah, very satisfied with this win. The way we play, especially the second half, we tried to, from the first minute in the second half, we tried to put pressure on them, and I think the way we scored the goals and the way we played, especially in the second half, was very good.
Now, you left Reggie Blinker out today. You played with 2 strikers through the middle. What was the thinking behind that?
No, we know their way of playing, so we want to play a little bit same style, and we did it already before the game here away. The first game, our style wasn't really work well today, and then the game ago it worked well, and the last time we had a draw, and today we had a win, and I think we deserve it. But we choose for another way of playing, and then if it's necessary, we do that.
What did you make of Enrico Annoni's marking job on Brian Laudrup?
Yeah, we know what he can do, and he did a very good job. But if I speak about one player, I don't think it's right, because all the players on the pitch, they were very, very good today.
Do you feel this will give the dressing room a real buzz with 2 away games coming up?
Yeah, of course. Already we speak about the first game is always the most important thing. I think we did a very good job today, but we have to take care about the coming games, because they are always difficult and always dangerous. But I think the way we play today gives us a lot of confidence for the next games.
Many congratulations. Thanks for your time once again.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, good luck to them. But Charlie, there's no time to lose for Celtic if they are to make the most of this small advantage they've gleaned today.
Yeah, of course, but it's the teams they've been losing to, it's been a problem. You know, they lost here to Dunfermline, and then they got into a stride, but they've also lost here to Motherwell, and then losing them next. Yeah, but you know, these are the games that you've got to kill off. Celtic, if they're going to maintain a good challenge to Rangers, have got to keep beating these teams. Don't have to play well every week, but they can beat them, they get the points in the bag, and he keeps saying to Rangers, well, they're not going away, it's up to you to maintain it.
Trevor, would Rangers be thinking about adding to the squad?
I think they're always thinking about adding to the squad. It's availability of players. There's no great panic, as Craig said. They're still top of the league, but you've got to be looking to have some consistency about your play. And at the moment, Rangers are up and down. There's no great fluency to the pattern of play at all. Defensively, as Charlie says, they're not quite right. Bjorklund didn't play. He's normally a mainstay for them. They've had to change it around. Stuart McCall playing in the defence is not his normal position, but generally, yeah, they'll be looking to make acquisitions, but not immediately.
In Scotland or abroad?
Well, I think they've exhausted the Scottish market. I think both Celtic and Rangers have. There are some good young players, but not ready for that level of performance yet. So I think they will look abroad, unfortunately for the international team. But, you know, they still have some good young players. And I thought the best players there were the Scottish players. And I was delighted. And we've repeatedly said this, that Lambert in midfield, Craig Burley, Jackie McNamara, outstanding. Tommy Bhoys had a fine game. And of course Stuart McCall and Gordon Jury come on too late to really make an impact. So Scottish players did well today, and although at least half the players in view were foreign.
Rangers go and play Aberdeen next, I think, Trevor.
Yeah,
how will they look on that one?
Well, every game's important. Aberdeen have just come into a little bit of form that they had to do because they were languishing near the foot of the division. But every game's important. 3 points, as they lost to Rangers today, but you've got an opportunity to reverse that next week, and Walter Smith will make sure that his team are up for it.
Charlie, what did you make of Rangers' overall display today?
I was disappointed by them. I thought they would have came here. They actually, for me, in front of the midfield, between the midfield and defence, were trying these little passes to get out of trouble at times, and it killed them. They couldn't get any fluency to their game at all, and I've never seen Rangers do that. They normally hit Celtic on the break, never had any opportunities to do that today. I think Rangers at the back have got a lot to do to get it right, because other than Gorham today, you can't actually say anybody was that special for Rangers.
Have they got the overall squad? They've done so well in previous years. They've got so many numbers of players.
They've got Amaruso starting to train with Fiorentina. I think he'll be back soon. Rosenthal's coming back. Gascoigne, they must now get fit and keep him free of suspension, because other than that, Rangers look as if they're lacking real quality.
OK, well, we'll be following the title race in England and Scotland to its conclusion. Last year was a great year, and 98 looks like being even better.
Burley has surely won the final now for Celtic.
David Hopkins looking to come. Absolutely amazing. And it's 3-1. Shearer. Newcastle have won it. Oh, incredible power. There is no last day miracle for Middlesbrough. And Keane, they've got it. Ebola. Shearer. England have qualified for the 1998 World Cup finals. Wallace taking it on. Here's the alley.
What a goal! Absolutely fantastic! Is there a team in the land good enough to stop them,
Well, Manchester United won it all again, and we'll be following the title race to a conclusion in England and Scotland, bringing you all the games that count. In the title race in Scotland, Monday week, January the 12th, St Johnstone against Hearts, and in the months ahead, Celtic against Aberdeen, back here at Celtic Park on February the 2nd. Rangers go to Kilmarnock on February the 24th. And then maybe the decisive game of the season. It's beginning to look a possibility. The fourth and final Old Firm League game of the season. Rangers against Celtic. That is on April the 12th. Plus 5 Scottish Cup ties between now and the end of the season live. All right, a final thought perhaps from each of you as to the title race now, Charlie. Has much changed as a result of today?
No, I don't think so, other than the psychological barrier that Celtic have broken today. I think Hearts are going to be in there until March or April. I don't think they'll win it, but I think they'll be fighting all the way. But I think it's definitely between Celtic and Rangers. Could go either way. I think the one with the strongest defence now will win the championship.
Craig?
Yeah, a great psychological boost today for Celtic, and it gives them an enormous chance to overhaul Rangers, yeah.
And for Hearts, do you think?
Yeah, Hearts too, because it's kept it tight at the top, and Hearts, if they have the resources, I think Jim Jeffries will make a signing. A couple of signings maybe, just to strengthen his team. And if he does, it'll be a 3-horse race. Otherwise, Rangers and Celtic will pull away, and we'll see that game on the 12th of April might be very crucial.
Trevor, would you still make Rangers your favourites tonight?
Yeah, I still think they're favourites because they've been over the course and won 9 championships in a row. So they certainly know how to get there. A lot of new players in the squad, of course. So can they gel together, to actually make it happen? But it's nice to see 3 teams vying for it this year, and it's a nice freshness about it. And I'm sure everybody down in England's quite happy to see that it's not just Rangers and Celtic who are going for the championship.
As the rain begins to fall down outside, maybe it's something you can hear at home. Apologies, I can't control the weather for you. Just a final thought about Celtic's season from here, Charlie. Yes, they have to find consistency. Yeah. But do you think the belief might be there now that was not there before?
I think, to be honest, it's been coming. It's as if, it's gradually growing, and I think they had to prove to themselves if they beat Rangers, it would be there. I think they probably feel it. The spirit in the camp's increased a lot over the past months. What they've done is strong defensive units. Up front, they just needed to change the tactics or variation. I think Jansen's now starting to prove that, and I think because of that situation, we're changing things round about. It's going to be an aid for Celtic now to believe in themselves.
Thank you, Charlie. Thanks also to Craig Brown and to Trevor Stephen. Really enjoyed the pleasure of your company today, and brave man putting on a smile at the end of the line there. Just before we leave you, the FA Cup action from England over the course of the weekend. FA Cup specials tomorrow evening at 5:30 on Sky Sports 2. Highlights of Queen's Park Rangers against Middlesbrough. That's our featured match there. On to Sunday, the big one in England, Chelsea against Manchester United. Sunday at 11, Sky Sports 2 from Stamford Bridge. There's an FA Cup special Sunday at 4 in the afternoon on Sky Sports 2. Third round highlights once more, and we include the 4th round draw. And then another big live cup tie on Monday night, Sky Sports 2 at 7, London Derby, Tottenham Hotspur against Fulham. Thanks for being with us in Scotland, where the title race is wide open. Bye for now.
We should let the people at home know exactly what they're missing. Are you